Chapter 81. Now that we have the results, young Master Xing, I will leave the rest to you, Lu Wenhua said to Xing Xiao. Lu Wenhua was referring to the two invigilators. To be specific, there were 4 of them, 1 main invigilator and 1 assistant invigilator. Mu Tongxue and Mu Qiqi were in different exam rooms. If they wanted to exchange the exam papers, the invigilators would definitely collude with them. It all depended on how the invigilators were going to explain themselves. The main goal now was to find out who the 2 main invigilators were. Xing Xiao nodded. Leave it to me. I am good at dealing with scumbags. Since there was an act of bribery, most people would naturally react and investigate the bank account. But now, many people knew to be cautious and use cash or checks. Cash could be hidden indefinitely, while checks could be exchanged after the commotion died down. So, the 2 main invigilators were not that stupid. Even if they had a huge sum of money, they would not let others know. If they wanted to get the 2 to testify, they must have something on them. If they wanted to get something on them, they must find their weakness. Out of the 2 of them, one of them was very honest. He went to school as usual every day. His life was always between school and home. However, he had a daughter who was sick. The other teacher was a womanizer. He loved to drink. Lu Wenhua thought that Xing Xiao would look for the drunkard because he seemed to have a lot of flaws. But Xing Xiao did not waste his time on the drunkard. Instead, he investigated the good father. He wanted to know what kind of illness his daughter had, how serious it was and how many surgeries she had undergone. In the end, Jingyun told him that his daughter had congenital heart disease. She was waiting in line for resources. With this information, Xing Xiao whispered to Jingyun, "Go to the hospital. Do this." Lu Wenhua looked at Xing Xiao confusedly. Why don't you look for the drunkard? Do you think I want to do something to his daughter? Xing Xiao sneered and shook his head. Principal Lu, am I such a despicable person in your heart? Ugh. It's just a rumor. Lu Wenhua smiled awkwardly. I just asked Jingyun to contact the medical staff and tell the good father that his daughter is going to undergo surgery soon. What do you think he will do if he is anxious? Lu Wenhua was enlightened. Indeed, the crown prince was the one who had to do this. A normal person would never think of using that seriously ill girl. However, from the moment this good father did something bad, this man was not worthy of sympathy. That was why Xing Xiao had no scruples. Let's wait and see. As long as one side confesses, the other side can't deny it even if they want to. These few days, Mu Qiqi stayed in her new home. But, she was still not energetic. She knew that Xing Xiao and Lu Wenhua were busy with her. But, she still needed some time to get over the pain she was feeling. That was why Mu Qiqi stayed at home, imagining how she would appear on the day of Mu Tongshua's gathering to give her the biggest surprise. Moreover, Xiao Xiao had not closed his eyes for a few days. It made Mu Qiqi feel guilty and urged her to pull herself together. Although, the pain caused by the Mu family really made her feel as if she was going to destroy the world. Late that night, Xing Xiao returned to his new home, travel-worn. He wanted to tell Mu Qiqi that he had found the evidence. The doctor lied to the man and said that he needed 1.5 million for the surgery. The man was so scared that his face turned pale. After that, he made a few phone calls in the corridor. There were signs of an argument. But in the end, he went to the bank and cashed the check. Jingyun took a photo of everything, including the check with your mother's name on it. After that, Jingyun took the evidence and went to the man. Guess what he wanted to do? He wanted to save his daughter first. What a kind father he is. Unfortunately, his daughter did not need the surgery at all. Jingyun would never forget that scene for the rest of his life. The man wanted to jump off the building but Jing Yun stopped him. What do you think your death is worth? Your family will lose their source of income from now on. The truth will be buried in the sea. Then, the person whose result was changed by you will never get justice in his life. Do you think your death is worth it? The man hesitated. I promise I won't call the police. I just want you to tell me the truth. Moreover, I will take care of your daughter's medical expenses forever. I can sign the papers so that you can rest assured. Seeing that Jing Yun had given him so many benefits, the man finally sat on the floor and burst into tears. I really didn't do it on purpose. It's my first time doing such a thing. According to the man, he was in charge of the exam room where Mu Tongxue was. Then, he made an agreement with the chief examiner of the other exam room to exchange the exam papers and share the spoils with the teacher of the same exam room. The names of the exam papers had been changed beforehand. So, the difficulty for them was how to exchange the exam papers. The truth had been revealed. But Mu Qiqi did not feel happy at all. Because Mu Tongxue was still laughing. Moreover, the result of exchanging the exam papers had been done. The damage to her had been done. Now, only by making Mu Tongxue pay the price could she completely calm the fire in her heart. Xing Xiao looked at Mu Qiqi's indifferent face. Then, he put all the evidence in front of her. These are all for you. Moreover, Jing Yun has found out which hotel the Mu family booked. When the time comes, you can enjoy the big screen. This time, you must fight well in this battle. It must have been hard, right? Mu Qiqi looked at Xing Xiao, her heart aching. You're the crown prince, but you ran around for a little girl like me. You didn't even sleep for a few nights. Xing Xiao knew that she would not calm down before she vented her anger. That was why he simply pinched her cheeks and got close to her. You know you owe me. As for the compensation. Wait until I'm done with Mu Tongxue. No, Xiao Xiao. It's the entire Mu family, since they can turn my life upside down. Let's fight to the death. I won't let anyone from the Mu family off. I will return all the grievances and grudges. Since they won't let me have it easy, no one can have their way. That was probably the biggest release Mu Qiqi had been holding back all this while. Xing Xiao laughed out loud when he saw how insolent and arrogant she was. Chapter 82. It was the middle of July at the 5-star Crown Resort Hotel. The Mu family was going to hold a celebration for Mu Tongxue that night. They wanted to congratulate her for her excellent results and her admission into the best university in Xingting University. At 6 o'clock, the guests arrived one after another. Apart from Papa Mu's business friends, the Mu family was there too. No matter if they were jealous or envious of Mu Tongxue, they couldn't let anyone take advantage of them. Papa Mu was all smiles tonight. He was proud of Mu Tongxue's results. Everyone was envious and praised him. Mama Mu was smiling too. She was wearing a long black dress and was adorned with jewels and diamonds. She looked noble and elegant. As for Mu Tongxue, she was the little princess of the night. She was wearing a purple halter dress, which made her look a little charming. After all, she was an adult, and Mama Mu did not stop her from dressing like a little girl. CEO Mu, like father, like daughter. Mu Tongxue is so outstanding. I'm so envious. That's right. As a congratulatory gift, I've prepared a big gift for my niece. Then, third uncle gave her a bunch of car keys. A Ferrari for my niece. Perfect. A beautiful car for a beautiful woman. Thank you, third uncle. Mu Tongxue held the keys. She was very excited. It was because she had gotten the admission letter from Xingting University. It meant that it was too late for Mu Qiqi to know the truth now. Tangxue is so promising. Her grandmother loves her so much since she was young. Grandpa Mu was sitting on the high seat. He held his walking stick and waved at Mu Tangxue. Shua, come to me. Grandpa. Mu Tangxue walked to him. I've prepared a big gift for you too. Then, Grandpa Mu gestured to the lawyer beside him. Read it. It's like this. Miss Mu is now an adult. Moreover, she has obtained such excellent results in her exams. So, Chairman Mu has decided to transfer 5% of Mu Group's shares to Miss Mu Tangxue. He hopes that she can grow up quickly and contribute to Mu Group. Even Papa Mu only owned 12% of the shares. Now, Mu Tangxue owned 5%. How enviable was that? Of course, Papa Mu was the happiest. Because Mu Tangxue could not manage the shares with her current ability. She needed him as her father. What an honor, I'm so envious, look at other people's daughters. Mu Tangxue was the center of attention tonight, and the Mu family had completely forgotten that Mu Qiqi was still there. Under the luxurious chandelier and the melodious vintage music, no one mentioned Mu Qiqi's name. It was as if she had never appeared and did not exist in this world. Shua, it's a happy night. Why don't you go up there and say a few words to thank everyone for their support? Papa Mu reminded. Mu Tangxue nodded. At that moment, she was like a proud little princess. She had everything now, whether it was her grades, her position in the Mu family, or the shares of the Mu family. She had everything. Then, Mu Tangxue walked to the stage. But just as she was about to step on the stage, a staff member came to her with a gift box. Miss Mu, someone has brought you a gift. Mu Tangxue quickly caught the exquisite gift box. Who gave it to you? A secret guest. She asked you to sign for it. She will be here soon, the staff answered politely. Mu Tangxue did not think much about it. She immediately signed for the gift. But she did not know who would be so thoughtful as to wrap it so beautifully. Shua, hurry up and open it. It might be one of your admirers. Mama Mu quickly said. She was very curious. That's right. The guest started to cheer. Mu Tangxue nodded and smiled as she opened the brocade box. However, her face paled the moment the box was opened. Mama Mu saw that she was not right. She quickly asked, "What's wrong?" Mu Tangxue put the box away guiltily. But, Mama Mu took it from her. What's this? There was nothing else. It was just the appraisal report of the 2 test papers. Mama Mu put it away too. Her face turned pale too. It's nothing. It's just a prank. What prank? Papa Mu snatched it away. He was about to open the box when Mama Mu begged him. Hubby, don't open it. Please, Dad, it's a private gift. Let me go home and open it. Mu Tangxue tried to smooth things over. Right at this moment, a figure walked out from the crowd. She was wearing a blue starry sky short skirt. Her figure was skinny, but her eyes were sharp, carrying with them an extreme coldness. More importantly, she looked almost the same as Mu Tangxue. But, her temperament was completely different. If Mu Tangxue was a delicate rose, Mu Qiqi was a dangerous black rose at that very moment. How could an 18-year-old girl be so intimidating? This was really surprising. It's my gift. Why don't you dare to open it? Mu Qiqi slowly walked towards the crowd and asked the Mu family. Or are you afraid? When Mu Tangxue saw Mu Qiqi, she quickly went up to her. Sister, this is not the time for jokes. But, Mu Qiqi pushed her away. Who's your sister? Do you think of me as your sister? Mama Mu stepped forward as well, but before she could reach Mu Qiqi, Muchichi turned to face the guests. Let me tell you what this present I've given you is. I believe many of you here have children studying at Eton. You must have heard about Mu Tongshue's results and why she could perform so well. Muchichi, you didn't do well. Can't you let others do well? Mu Tongxue quickly gained the upper hand. I know what the school thinks of me. But this is my real results. It has nothing to do with you. Is that so? Muchichi smiled. Then, she pointed at the box in Papa Mu's hand with her chin. Do you dare to open the box and show everyone what's inside? Don't make trouble out of nothing. Muchichi glared at Mu Tongxue with determination and disgust. Then, she walked up to Papa Mu and took the box from him. She opened it in front of everyone, but Mu Tongxue snatched it away from him. In the process, the report fell beside the guests' feet. The guests bent down to pick it up and read its contents. What does it say? One of the guests asked. Chapter 83. All the guests looked at each other when the results were out. What's going on? The guests asked. The daughters of the Mu family had always been a couple. But recently, they heard that something had happened to the eldest daughter of the Mu family. Rumor had it that the Mu family refused to admit it. It seemed that the banquet today had confirmed that. But why did Muchichi suddenly appear with the report? What was going on? Let me tell you what's going on. Muchichi walked down the stage and took the report from the guests. Then, she faced the crowd. This report shows that Mu Tongshue's exam papers and mine have been swapped. And Mu Tongxue even copied my notes to confuse the public. You're lying. Mu Tongxue was hysterical. I'm lying. Mu Tongxue, this time, I won't give you any chance to make a comeback. I've already sent the original version of the report and the exam paper to the Ministry of Education. Did you change my exam paper? The Ministry of Education will give me an answer. Otherwise, how could a person who can't even get into the top 30 in the country suddenly get the third place? You. How can you do that? And you never liked science subjects. So, your comprehensive science scores were always lagging behind. Why? Did you get full marks in all subjects? Muchichi's voice was loud and heavy. She was trembling because she was trying to control the anger in her heart. Security. Security. Papa Mu saw that the situation was not right. He wanted to get someone to chase Muchichi away. But, Muchichi smiled and said to him. Don't worry, Mr. Mu. I will settle the score later. If you want to chase me away without waiting for me to settle the score, I will not care about what happened to Grandma anymore. When the time comes, the whole country will know about it. Don't blame me for not greeting you here. At that moment, Muchichi was like the incarnation of hatred. Because every word she said was like a sharp knife. She did not leave any leeway for anyone. She wanted to expose the truth and force everyone into a life and death struggle. Papa Mu looked at Muchichi in shock. But, he could not do anything to her. Let's get back to Mu Tongxue. You swapped my exam papers and stole my life. How can you accept someone else's gift? Do you think you can accuse me of swapping the exam papers just because of the report? Where's the evidence? Muchichi, do you think it's that easy to cheat? Mu Tongxue stood beside Mama Mu and screamed hysterically. She no longer had the gentleness of a princess. He had become like a clown. Teacher Yuan from exam room 12 and Teacher Deng from exam room 16. You and Mrs. Mu should remember them, right? Nonsense, I don't even know the teachers in Shui or school. Mama Mu completely dissociated herself. You couldn't beat your sister in the exam, and you're spreading rumors here. How shameless. You don't know me, okay? Muchichi smiled. Then, she said to the hotel manager, "Can I trouble you to turn on the super large screen in your hotel? I really can't wait." Since Xing Xiao had arranged it beforehand, the hotel was very cooperative. They immediately turned on the big screen in the hotel and were ready to show the video Xing Xiao had given them. "Mu Tangxue, Mrs. Mu, I'll give you one last chance. Do you admit that you bribed the invigilator to switch my exam papers?" "Humph, giving birth to a daughter like you is the biggest humiliation of my life." Mama Mu hugged Mu Tangxue and snorted coldly. "Okay." Mu Qiqi nodded. She did not intend to give them another chance. She immediately asked the staff to show the video. Then, a figure appeared on the big screen. It was one of the main examiners, the good father. He recorded the video. "Mrs. Mu contacted me a few times. The first time, she offered me $1 million. But I thought it was too risky, so I rejected her. Later, she used my daughter's illness to persuade me. She gave me a check of $3 million. So, I agreed. Moreover, I covered for each other with the assistant examiner in the same exam room. After everything was done, I gave him $500,000 in cash. We swapped Mu Qiqi and Mu Tangshue's exam papers. At first, I thought that as long as Mu Tangxue did better than Mu Qiqi, I would have completed the mission. I did not expect Mu Qiqi to get the third place in the entire country. When the results were announced, I thought that perhaps this day would come. The teacher in the video looked very miserable. He was even crying. But, it still gave Mu Tangxue a chance to struggle. Do you think that you can get into Xingting University just because you bribed the teacher and slandered me? Sister, it's too late. Xingting University's acceptance letter is already here. Whether it's slander or not, I've already called the police. The police have the evidence, the check, whatever you want. The Mu family can't do whatever they want. Do you think that you can scare me?" Mu Tangxue showed her strong mentality. She was not scared by Mu Qiqi at all. "I think that I should be the one to call the police." Obviously, Mu Tangxue was not willing to be suppressed by Mu Qiqi. And Mu Qiqi would not lower her head to Mu Tangxue. At that moment, Papa Mu finally said, "Enough." This farce was really enough. "Mu Qiqi, is that all you can do? A fine banquet was turned into such a mess by you. What a disgrace." To Papa Mu, he thought that Mu Qiqi was just throwing a tantrum and joking. He thought that Mu Qiqi was just unwilling to admit defeat. When Mu Tangxue saw Papa Mu standing in front of her, she became even more confident. "Sister, your show is over. Can you get lost now? Mu Qiqi, leave now. Your father is not going to pursue this matter." Just look at the Mu family's courage in refusing to admit even in death. Their act of covering one's ears while stealing a bell was simply too shameless. Still, this time, Mu Qiqi would not be fooled by this family. Because the police arrived soon. The police entered the hotel and asked everyone, "Who is Madame Su Ziqing?" Mama Mu's face changed instantly. "Uncle, this is her." Mu Qiqi pointed at Mama Mu and said to the police. "You're suspected of bribery. Come with us." After the police said that, they took out their handcuffs and tried to put them on Mama Mu. But, Mama Mu grabbed Papa Mu and begged for mercy. "Hubby, I didn't do anything wrong. Why are you arresting me? Stop acting. Otherwise, I'll charge you for obstructing public service." The short police officer shouted at Mama Mu. Then, he ordered his subordinates to bring Mama Mu away. "Hubby, save me. You, Mu Tangxue and Mu Qiqi are coming to the police station to help with the investigation." Before the police took Mama Mu away, they told Mu Qiqi, "Don't be afraid, child. We will fight for the justice you want." "Thank you, officer." Mu Chi-Chi said with tears in her eyes. Come to the police station after you're done here. The officer told Mu Chi-Chi. Chapter 84. Mu Tangxue, are you going to continue? The Education Bureau, the police, Eton, Xingting University and even the whole country who care about education will be watching you. Are you going to continue to be stubborn? At that time, the news will know about it. Everything about you will be uncovered. Third in the country. You won't just be the third place in the country tomorrow. I will make you the first place in the country. Mu Tangxue shook her head after hearing what Mu Chi-Chi said. She denied it. Sister, do you think you can lie to me? I didn't change your exam paper. I will never admit it. If I did, I will be struck by lightning. Then, Mu Tangxue went forward and grabbed Papa Mu's shirt. Dad, believe me. These are my results. I didn't change my sister's exam paper. But the evidence was out. The police had come to arrest them. Mu Tangxue was still lying to herself. The guests could see it clearly. Especially the elders of the Mu family. They felt embarrassed. So, they said to Papa Mu, second brother, I don't know what to say. Do as you see fit. The relatives took the opportunity to leave the hotel. Because they could not afford to be humiliated. How could you do something like changing your sister's exam paper? You're crazy. How could you steal your sister's exam paper? I'm afraid the Mu family is going to be infamous this time. You can't judge a book by its cover. You even set your sister up. All around them, the angry voices of the guests were like sharp knives stabbing into Mu Tangxue's heart. You are all talking nonsense. I didn't change Mu Chi-Chi's exam paper. She is the one who framed me. Mu Tangxue ran to Grandpa Mu and knelt down. Grandpa, you have to uphold justice for me. Grandpa, I really didn't change my exam paper. I did it myself. Grandpa Mu held his walking stick. His expression was stern and his eyes were cold. He looked at Mu Chi-Chi from afar and asked, Chi-Chi, are you trying to take revenge on the Mu family? Are you trying to frame your sister because you are not happy about being kicked out of the family? If that's the case, you should come for me. Why do you have to hurt your sister? It's been so many years. I never thought that you would even be concerned about her college entrance exam results. Everything that happened here today, I don't believe it at all. If you didn't do this to retaliate against the Mu Jia, then why would you do this? Why did you have to choose such a day to make this public? What education bureau? What police station? It's just a bluff. After the police station investigates the matter, I believe that they will definitely give my granddaughter justice. As for you, you've embarrassed the Mu clan. In this life, don't even think about stepping into the Mu clan's door. The guests are dismissed. Before the evidence is out, I'll only believe what my granddaughter says. With that, he pulled Mu Tangxue to her feet. Still, that was within Mu Chi-Chi's expectations. The Mu family would never admit that they were cunning. Grandpa, thank you. Thank you for believing in me. Don't be afraid. Grandpa has a lawyer by his side. Little he, this matter. Help me deal with it. The lawyer next to Grandpa Mu saw the situation with his own eyes. So, he had a pair of sharp eyes, especially when he saw the report and the police. So, he knew very well whether Mu Tangxue had swapped the exam papers or not. But because Grandpa Mu was his employer, he could not reject Grandpa Mu's request. As a lawyer, he should have a bottom line. So, lawyer, he told Grandpa Mu honestly, Grandpa, based on the evidence that Mu Chi-Chi has presented, the Education Bureau and the police station are very likely to say that Miss Mu changed the exam papers. So, I think that the Mu family should think of a way to settle this matter instead of going against Mu Chi-Chi. Otherwise, it will not benefit the Mu family at all. But I didn't change her exam papers. Mu Tongxue refused to give in. Moreover, the admission letter from Enchanting University has been issued. I will be able to enter the best university soon. When the guests left, Su Zipei was ordered by Xing Xiao to tell Mu Qiqi about the latest announcement from the Education Bureau and the results of the announcement from Enchanting University. After Mu Qiqi heard this, she quickly turned on her phone. She saw the response from the Education Department. She walked in front of Mu Tongxue and showed her the phone. The Education Department has already announced that your results have been cancelled. Enchanting University has also sent out a notice overnight to withdraw your admission. Tomorrow, the whole Jianchuan will know that you changed my exam papers. Mu Tongxue, if you kneel in front of the Mu family now, they will not be able to protect you. You want to enter Enchanting University? Not even in your next life. Then, Mu Qiqi continued to speak to the Mu family. I know that you have always favored Mu Tongxue since you were young. So, even at this time, you are still deceiving yourself. I don't blame you. But, Grandpa, Dad, ask yourselves. What have I received from the Mu family for so many years? Have you ever cared about me? You beat and scold me at every turn. It seems that I am an unnecessary existence in your eyes. If that is the case, why did you give birth to me? Since you can sacrifice me for your own benefit, it is fine. Now, I can only harm the benefit that you care about the most. So, don't blame me for what I did today. It is you who did not treat me as a human first. After saying that, Mu Qiqi returned to Mu Tongxue. She stared at her fiercely. The Mu Qiqi that you bullied in the past has been completely destroyed by you this time. Since the day the results were announced, I was crying in the corner while you were laughing on the stage. From that moment onwards, I swore that I will see you lose your reputation. There will be no place for you in Jianchuan. You can continue to tell others that you did not change my exam papers. When the whole world knows about this, you see, at that moment, Dad and Grandpa behind you will only give you the loudest slap in the face. Mu Tongxue, I am looking forward to that moment. After saying that, Mu Qiqi wiped her tears away. She pretended to be strong. Also, I have never wanted to return to the Mu family. But, I will remember every single thing that the Mu family did to me. Seeing that Mu Tongxue's body was about to collapse, Mu Qiqi turned around. I am done. I will see you at the police station later. After saying that, Mu Qiqi walked away with determined steps. The more wounds there were, the more hatred there was. Chapter 85. Soon, the guests left the hotel. Only the members of the Mu family were left, especially Mu Tongxue, who was squatting on the floor. She was sobbing uneasily. She looked weak and helpless. Papa Mu did not care about his daughter. He said to his assistant, "Let's go to the police station first." Then, he left. He was very disappointed with the two sisters. The news would be published tomorrow. So, it was better for him to go back to the company to prepare for it instead of comforting them. Then, Grandpa Mu helped Mu Tongxue to stand up. He looked at his son walking away and said to the lawyer, "Lawyer He, let's go to the police station together. I will take care of that bastard." Yes, Grandpa Mu. The Mu family became lively after the news came out. Mama Mu kept claiming that she was innocent after she was brought to the police station. She did not cooperate with the investigation at all. The police could not stand it anymore. Let me tell you, Madam Su. The Ministry of Education has announced that you will be severely punished if you do not cooperate with the investigation on bribing the examiner. 3 million. It's 2 million in total. Do you know that it's a serious crime to bribe more than 10,000? Do you know how many years you will be sentenced to? You are still trying to defend yourself. The victim has already provided important evidence. The only reason you're sitting here is to fight for a reduced sentence for yourself, but you're still not cooperating. Mama Moo was shocked. She quickly took her phone. No, I want to hire a lawyer, do whatever you want. But the evidence that the police have is very comprehensive. You will not be able to escape even if you hire a lawyer. Soon, Moo Chi-Chi arrived at the police station. She was going to provide the police with detailed evidence and her statement. Soon, Grandpa Moo brought Moo Tangxue to the police station. The police looked at the two sisters. They felt that the world was full of strange things. Some twins were inseparable. Some twins tried to kill each other. But they had never seen twins killing each other like this. Of course, Moo Chi-Chi was the victim. She deserved more sympathy from the police. But they still handled the case according to the law. They were just a little gentler to Moo Chi-Chi. Both of you, please come here and record your statements. Moo Tangxue looked angry, wronged, and scared. Lawyer He, go in and comfort Tangxue. Grandpa Moo was really biased. The police could not help patting Moo Chi-Chi's shoulder. Little girl, we will definitely clear your name. Now that things are clear, just wait for the results. Moo Chi-Chi nodded. Although she felt wronged, she insisted on finishing her statement and left the interrogation room. When Moo Chi-Chi returned to the main hall, she saw Grandpa Moo. He was asking about Mama Moo's condition. The policeman answered him directly, Grandpa, I'm afraid Madame Sue can't go home for the time being. She is suspected of bribery. The amount involved is huge. I'm afraid she won't be able to leave easily. The evidence is already in the final stage. You should go home. It's already so late. Take care of yourself. Grandpa Moo frowned when he heard that. It was because he realized that Moo Chi-Chi was not the one who framed Moo Tangxue. Officer, my little girl has been wronged. Grandpa, the Education Bureau will not get involved if she is wronged. Moreover, the police will investigate it overnight. The impact of this incident is too big. Please go home. Grandpa Moo was stunned for a moment. Then, he seemed to wake up. He looked at Moo Chi-Chi who was not far away with a complicated expression. Then, Moo Tangxue came out of the interrogation room in tears. Grandpa Moo said to her, Shue, the police are serious now. You should tell me the truth. Moo Tangxue was already scared. She could only pretend to faint when Grandpa Moo asked her. Seeing that she had fainted, Grandpa Moo asked Lawyer He to carry her. Send her to the hospital. Then, he walked up to Moo Chi-Chi with his walking stick and said, Do you really have to be so calculative about it? Are you willing to destroy the Moo family? I believe in the regenerative ability of the Moo family. It's not something that I can destroy. Secondly, when you said that, did you think that you would stand in my shoes and defend me? We are both born in the Moo family. It's only right that Moo Tangxue stole my results. Why? Why? Having said that, Moo Chi-Chi turned around and walked out of the police station. Grandpa Moo sighed deeply. He trusted Moo Tangxue so much. He did not believe in any evidence. He was afraid that Moo Tangxue would be wronged and framed. But his granddaughter was not as simple as he thought. The scariest thing was that tomorrow would be the day after. Because it would be a heavy blow to the Moo family and the Moo group once it was exposed. So, they should not have provoked Moo Chi-Chi in the first place. They should have begged her to let it go. But it was too late now. That night was the result of Xing Zhao's training for Moo Chi-Chi. She had the courage to stand in front of everyone and say those words because she had rehearsed it in front of Xing Zhao. But when they walked out of the police station, Moo Chi-Chi suddenly squatted down. She felt helpless. At that moment, Xing Xiao's tall figure appeared on the other side of the road. He crossed the red light and walked towards Mu Qiqi. Then, he picked her up. Mu Qiqi hugged Xing Xiao's neck. She cried loudly in the noisy traffic. Xiao Xiao, I am so sad. Xing Xiao put her in the car. Then, he hugged her head and let her bury her head in his arms. So what if you have no family? Am I not better than your father or your mother? Did you see how Mu Tongxue tried to argue? She even tried to run away. You are great today. You are really great. Xing Xiao kissed Mu Qiqi's head. Then, he brought her back to the small mansion. Little one, you have gotten what you wanted. Mu Tongxue will never be able to enter Xingting University again. She will never be able to enter Xingting University again. Moreover, tomorrow will be a truly difficult day for the Mu clan. At that moment, Mu Qiqi had mixed feelings. Because the person she was tearing apart was Mu Tongxue, Mama Mu, and all her family. But all of this was because she was forced into a corner. And just you wait. Your father will come and apologize to you. He will beg you to come back to the Mu family. Because that was the only way Papa Mu could appease the public. Chapter 86. That night, the news about the sisters exchanging the exam papers was reported in the morning newspaper the next day. Of course, Mama Mu and Mu Tongxue's behavior became a hot topic among the people. Papa Mu was humiliated because of it. Meanwhile, Mu Group stocks were affected and started to fall. But Mu Tongxue was still trying to shift the blame to Grandpa Mu when she woke up in the hospital. She knelt down in front of Grandpa Mu and said, "Grandpa, I really thought that this was my result. I really didn't know that the exam papers were tampered with." Grandpa Mu finally understood what happened. So, he looked at Mu Tongxue in disappointment. Then, tell me, why did you practice Mu Tongxue's handwriting? Mommy asked me to do that. I really don't know anything, Grandpa. Your mommy paid a lot to exchange the exam papers for you. You don't know anything. I don't believe it. But it's true. Mu Tongxue argued pitifully. If Grandma is still here, she will definitely believe that I'm innocent. Grandpa Mu's heart softened when he heard Mu Tongxue talking about his wife. Finally, he said to Mu Tongxue seriously, if there's any investigation, just say that you don't know anything. It's all your mother's plan. It has nothing to do with you. At least, the Mu family won't be so humiliated. Thank you, Grandpa. She was young and ignorant. She was easily misled by others. Grandpa Mu thought that he should at least protect Mu Tongxue. Even so, Xingting University has announced that you won't be able to study in this university anymore. Mu Tongxue knew that she couldn't study in Xingting University anymore. But, Mu Qiqi couldn't either. Unless Mu Qiqi had to study for another year. Thinking about it now, it was not a big loss. Don't think too much since you're staying in the hospital. Have a good rest. Don't worry about anything else. After that, Grandpa Mu left the hospital with his walking stick. He went straight to Mu Group. It was because they had to make a choice at this moment. The news is out. Although it won't affect the foundation of Mu Group, it will inevitably be used by people with ulterior motives. So, you need to let your daughter-in-law take responsibility for everything as soon as possible. Moreover, you need to take responsibility for Tongxue's sins as well. That's the only way to prevent any losses. Papa Mu understood Grandpa Xing's suggestion and nodded. I understand, Dad. As for Mu Qiqi, you have to appease her now. Otherwise, if she insists on pursuing the matter, this matter will drag on for a year and a half. I understand. Papa Mu nodded. That was why the Mu family intended for Mama Mu to bear the entire burden. Of course, she would not agree to it, but the Mu family had a lawyer. Mama Mu was waiting for the Mu family's lawyer to come and bail her out of the police station. However, the lawyer was not there to bail her out. "Mr. Officer, may I have a word with my client?" "I promise, after I communicate with her, she will tell you everything truthfully." "Then hurry up." Now, Mu Chi-Chi's case had attracted the attention of the whole education department. The whole education industry was watching the case with their eyes wide open. The police were under a lot of pressure too. "Lawyer, can I get out of the police station soon?" "Mrs. Mu, don't panic. Listen to Mr. Mu's suggestion. Everyone knows about it now. It will affect the Mu group greatly. So, Mr. Mu wants you to take responsibility for it first. Let's close the case as soon as possible. When the news dies down, the Mu family will spend some money to get you out of jail. That is the best way to solve this problem now." Mama Mu knew that the Mu family was going to sacrifice her. She could not believe it. "I'm doing this for the honor of the Mu family. Why should I bear the responsibility alone? But you're the one who caused this matter. If you didn't bribe the invigilator, everyone wouldn't know about it. Moreover, Mr. Mu wants you to bear all the consequences. You must insist that Miss Tangxue did not know anything. If you can't do that, you will get a divorce the moment you step out of the police station." Divorce. Mama Mu was stunned when she heard that. "I've been married to him for so many years. I've worked so hard for him. But now, he is willing to sacrifice me to protect Mu Group. If you are willing to turn yourself in, you will be detained for a few months at most. You won't have to suffer too much." The lawyer tried to persuade her. "It's better for everyone." Mama Mu put her hands together and lowered her head. She did not expect that she would be betrayed by her husband and her daughter. "So, you're saying that my husband will not help me? He wants me to plead guilty and hide the fact that my daughter knew about this matter?" "That's right. Or else, Mrs. Mu, the divorce agreement is waiting for you." Mama Mu laughed when she heard that. But, tears welled up in her eyes. "What does the Mu family think I am? A tool? Anyway, I've told you what I've said. You decide how you want to weigh the consequences." Mama Mu did not expect that she would be abandoned by the Mu family after planning for so long for Mu Tangxue. Why did she treat Mu Tangxue so well and even abandon her other daughter? Mama Mu was filled with hatred when she thought about that. After the lawyer left, the policeman came in. He saw Mama Mu's expression and asked, "Are you going to tell me the truth or not?" "Sir, I want to see someone." "I'll tell you everything once I see her." "Tell me." "I want to see my sister, Suzy Pei." The incident where Mu Chi-Chi was swapped had caused a huge commotion. It had attracted a lot of attention. The public wanted an answer as to what kind of punishment Mama Mu and Mu Tangxue would receive. And Mu Chi-Chi was waiting for the answer. But, the police called Suzy Pei and told her that Mama Mu wanted to see her. Otherwise, she would not confess. Suzy Pei hated Mu Tangxue the most. Mama Mu was second to her. Of course, she did not want to see that vicious woman. But, Lu Wenhua tried to persuade her. Logically speaking, your sister wants to see the Mu family the most now. Why does she want to see you? There must be a reason behind it. You should go and see her. Mu Chi-Chi felt that Principal Lu was right. And, although it doesn't matter if that woman admits it or not, I hope that she and Mu Tangxue will be punished sooner. If that's the case, I'll go to the police station. Suzy Pei stood up. I'll send you there. Because of Mu Chi-Chi, Lu Wenhua became a frequent visitor of the small mansion. Suzy Pei no longer hated him. Chapter 87. Then, Mu Chi-Chi whipped out her phone. She wanted to call Xing Xiao, but hung up after dialing. She had been immersed in pain all this while. She did not have a good date with Xing Xiao, and she did not know what Xing Xiao thought of her. On the other side, Xing Xiao was dealing with some work. His phone rang once and hung up. He put down his documents and picked up his phone. He did not call Mu Chi-Chi, but drove straight to the little mansion. Mu Chi-Chi was alone in the little mansion. She was stunned when she saw Xing Xiao enter the living room. Xiao Xiao. Xing Xiao hugged her and put her on his thighs. Seeing Mu Chi-Chi's blushing face, he mocked her. Have you forgotten who your body belongs to after not hugging you for a few days? Mu Chi-Chi wrapped her arms around his neck and shook her head. I haven't forgotten. I'm just afraid that you don't want it. Why did you call me just now? Xing Xiao asked, hugging her. I just miss you. Mu Chi-Chi answered softly. It's been a long time since we last had a date. Xing Xiao could not help rolling his eyes at that. Then, he put her down. I have something to do now. We'll talk about it tonight. I'll pick you up at the same place at 11 o'clock. Are you leaving now? Do you know there are more than 30 people waiting for me for a meeting? With that, Xing Xiao walked out of the little mansion and drove quickly to Huangyao. His little one's existence was affecting his mood too much. If he could not confirm it with his own eyes, he would not be able to hold a meeting in peace. Mu Chi-Chi watched as Xing Xiao left. Her heart was sweet and bitter at the same time. Because she did not know where her future lay, when Su Zipei arrived at the police station, the police arranged for her to meet Mama Mu alone. Facing the person who would frame her own daughter, Su Zipei really could not muster up a good attitude. She could only ask Mama Mu stiffly, "What's the matter? Just say it. As long as you are willing to seek justice for me." Zipei, the Mu family is going to sacrifice me now. They want me to bear all the responsibility. It's not a sacrifice, it's what you deserve. Mu Chi-Chi was chased out of the Mu family and she's already in so much pain. Now that she's ranked third in the entire country, you've ruined her future just because of an exchange. What's so great about Mu Tongxue that she deserves to be treated like this by your twin daughter? Su Zipei couldn't hold back her tears. If you still have a heart, you should feel shame and regret for everything you've done. I know I've let Mu Chi-Chi down. I thought I could live a luxurious life in the Mu family forever. But now, I realize that the Mu family, my husband, and my daughter don't care about me at all. They even want me to confess to my crimes. I don't have anyone else to look for right now. I know Chi-Chi hates me, so I can only look for you. As long as you can promise me that after I turn myself in, you will help me find a lawyer and help me get out as soon as possible. This time, I won't listen to the Mu family's arrangements. What's the Mu clan's arrangement? They claim that Mu Tongxue doesn't know anything, and that I've done everything by myself. Su Zipei laughed coldly at Mama Mu's words. So this is the Mu family you've worked so hard for all your life. As long as you promise me that you'll help me find a lawyer, I'll stand by Mu Chi-Chi this time. Don't you want the Mu family anymore? Don't you want riches? No, I won't. When I'm out of detention, I'll sue the Mu family and get my compensation. After all, Mama Mu knew very well that the Mu family didn't care about her life at all. They only cared about the stocks of Mu Group. As for Mu Tongxue, she was like a ball of white snow, chilling to the bone. I'll promise you if it's really as you say. But the Mu family's lawyer will stay by your side. I'll pretend to promise him. Then, I'll tell the truth when I confess. All right. The Mu family didn't know that Su Zipei had come to the police station, because Mama Mu had asked the police not to tell anyone. Then, she replied to the Mu family's lawyer. She agreed to do it. She would take all the blame so that Moo Group could return to normal. Grandpa Moo and Papa Moo were very happy when they heard that. Especially Moo Tongxue. She even thought that even if Moo Chi-Chi's results were not recognized, she could still get her results back. Because she was also a victim. But, Moo Chi-Chi's handwriting was so obvious. How could she say that she didn't know that her mother would do that? Who was she trying to fool? No matter what, she was relieved that Mama Moo was willing to take all the blame. Didn't Moo Chi-Chi think that she had already won? Not yet. When Su Zipei returned home, she told Moo Chi-Chi and Lu Wenhua about it. Lu Wenhua sighed when he heard that. That's what a rich family is like. But now, it's interesting that your sister has to choose between her two daughters. I want to know how much her testimony will affect Moo Tongxue. If she insists that Moo Tongxue doesn't know anything about it, then Moo Tongxue will be judged as a victim. Although her results will not be counted, she can still take the exam next year. But if she accuses Moo Tongxue of knowing about it, then Moo Tongxue won't be able to take the exam for the next 3 years. Moreover, it will be a stain on her reputation if she wants to do other things. It's totally different. So, no matter what happened in the past, it won't hurt Moo Chi-Chi to win her over. Alright, I will do my best to help Chi-Chi with this matter. Aunt, thank you. Moo Chi-Chi sat beside Su Zipei and said gratefully. Chi-Chi, now, let's wait for the final judgment. Moo Tongxue must go to hell. I will not let her get away with it even if I have to risk my life. Moo Chi-Chi nodded and handed the pen Xing Xiao had given her to Su Zipei. Aunt Zipei, Brother Xiao gave this to me. It has a recording function. Take it just in case. Alright. Moo Tongxue calmed down when she knew that she was fine. She became the princess of the Moo family again. It was just that she missed the exam. She did not do well in the exam. It was a pity that her sister was ranked 3rd in the country. She did not know that some things could not escape from her. There was no fluke. She just thought that she was fine now. But when it happened, it would be more dramatic. In the middle of the night, Mama Moo was interrogated. The lawyer of the Moo family was there too. He was very satisfied when he left because Mama Moo did everything according to the arrangement of the Moo family. However, after the lawyer left, Mama Moo immediately said to the police, "What I said just now is not valid. I want to change my testimony and tell them the truth." If that was the case, the show tomorrow would be even more exciting. At 11:00, Moo Chi-Chi finally waited until her aunt fell asleep. When she sneaked out of the house, she saw Xing Xiao standing under the moonlight. Her heart. Chapter 88. Moo Chi-Chi walked up to Xing Xiao and saw that his chest was wet. "It's so hot. Did you wait long for me? I just wanted to see if Moo Chi-Chi is more important now, after what happened. Is revenge more important, or me more important?" Moo Chi-Chi looked up at Xing Xiao and saw his half-smile. It was a feeling she had not felt for a long time. "Well, do you have an answer in your heart?" Xing Xiao grabbed Moo Chi-Chi's arm and put her in his sports car, and they headed straight to their new home. Still, Xing Xiao pulled Moo Chi-Chi into his arms as soon as he stepped through the door, kissing her wildly. At first, Moo Chi-Chi could only bear it. But when she felt that the person holding her was the man who had always been by her side and helped her the most, she suddenly began to respond and ignore everything else. By the time they realized what was going on, they were already lying on the sofa. Xing Xiao's shirt was already unbuttoned, revealing his sexy muscles. Moo Chi-Chi froze and sat up, not knowing what to do. Xing Xiao chuckled and lifted Moo Chi-Chi's chin. "You've grown up. You actually dare to push me down. Mu Qiqi promptly threw herself into Xing Xiao's arms and clung tightly to his body. Xiao Xiao, if I really have you, I might cling to you for the rest of my life. Do you mean that you still regret it now? Xing Xiao asked her dangerously. I won't regret it. But you have a better choice. Mu Qiqi really thought so. She wanted to possess him, but she was afraid that he would not be happy in the future. Xing Xiao frowned and hugged Mu Qiqi tightly until she could not breathe. I would cling to you even if I die. What choice do you think I have? I've told you from the start. Don't even think about escaping for the rest of your life since you've dragged me into hell. At those words, Mu Qiqi pushed Xing Xiao away, but her eyes were fixed on his shirt that had already fallen apart. Then, she reached out to unbutton his shirt, as if having made up her mind. But Xing Xiao simply grabbed her hands. What? Do you want to repay me? Do you think your eyes can hide from me? If you're not doing this for pure pleasure, I'd rather take a cold shower. With that, Xing Xiao pushed Mu Qiqi away and walked straight to the bathroom. Mu Qiqi chuckled as she knelt on the sofa. In the end, she followed behind him and picked up his clothes from the floor one by one. Soon, she pushed open the bathroom door and found him lying in the bathtub. Mu Qiqi did not dare to look around and only squatted beside him. It's not like I haven't seen it before. Why are you closing your eyes? Xing Xiao asked her teasingly. Back at the clinic, you were very nimble, that was to save you. Mu Qiqi looked downwards, and could still vaguely see the scar. Xing Xiao did not say anything. He just dragged Mu Qiqi into the bathtub and held her in his arms, pressing her down. If you move again, I won't be polite anymore. Xiao Xiao, will Mu Tongxue really get her retribution? Definitely. Xing Xiao held Mu Qiqi and answered her in a low but firm voice. The next morning, Mu Tongxue returned to the Mu family from the hospital. Although no one was nice to her, Papa Mu did not punish her. He even treated her like heir. Mu Tongxue knew her current situation. She should not appear in front of Papa Mu too often. She should clean up the mess as soon as possible so that she could win his heart back. Now that Mu Qiqi could not return to the Mu family, everything in the Mu family would eventually belong to her. As long as she could be useful to Papa Mu, he would not abandon her so easily. Now, Mama Mu had taken all the blame. Although Mu Tongxue was lucky to escape the responsibility, she still had to plan for her future. But she never thought about it. She was too simple-minded. Mama Mu changed her statement overnight. By then, the police had submitted all the evidence and witnesses to the court. Soon, Grandpa Mu called her. Don't be afraid, dear. Lawyer, he told me that you would be fine as long as your mother's statement is submitted. Then, should I go to the police station to see my mother? Why do you want to see her? She will be released in a few months. If you go to see her now, people will be suspicious. Also, Mu Group will hold a press conference in the afternoon. They will arrange for you to attend it. Attend it for what? She was just trying to push all the blame onto her mother. Although it was disgraceful, but, in this situation, there was no other way. Soon, Lu Wenhua received the news that Mu Group was going to hold a press conference. Then, he went to the small mansion. The Mu family must think that they will succeed. So, they are in a hurry to clarify the matter so that they can recover their shares. When is the press conference? Su Zipei was concerned about that. 2:00 in the afternoon. Then, it will be a great show. Su Zipei smiled. Then, she nudged Mu Qiqi. Let's wait for the show in the afternoon. Mu Group was holding a press conference to apologize to the public. They also wanted Mu Tongxue to clarify that she had nothing to do with the matter. She was a victim through and through. Mu Tongxue put on her best acting skills in front of the camera. She could not stop crying. She looked so pitiful. I really didn't know that mommy would do this. If I knew, I would rather die than let mommy be so confused. Moreover, I should have asked more questions. I always believed in mommy. I always thought that mommy thought that sister's handwriting was beautiful. That's why she asked me to practice it. I always treated sister as my role model. I really didn't know that mommy lied to me just so that she could help me cheat during the exam. It's all my fault. I've let sister down. I've let everyone down. Mu Tongxue insisted that she had nothing to do with the matter. Some reporters started whispering to each other. Who is she trying to fool? The handwriting is so similar. It's obvious that she has been imitating Mu Chichi for a long time. How could she say that she didn't know? Who would believe that? You don't understand. If she said that she didn't know, she would be the victim. She would not be put in a difficult position by the law and the Ministry of Education. But if she took the initiative, what do you think will be waiting for her? If I were her, I would also say that I didn't know. Chapter 89. If you can't accept it, Mu Chichi, as the person involved, is even more unwilling. The public is protesting too. They want the education department to punish Mu Tongxue. Now, we're waiting for Mama Mu's confession. Mu Tongxue has come out to clarify everything. I think she'll be fine. She'll be fine. Mu Tongxue thought that attending the press conference was an explanation to the public, and she was eager to clear her name. Little did she know, however, that her actions had aroused the ire of the police and the Ministry of Education. She had no intention of repentance at all. From the beginning to the end, she had treated others as fools, and treated the law and education as a game. So, after receiving Mama Mu's confession, the education department had already decided on how to deal with Mu Tongxue. But, after seeing the press conference, they immediately redefined her. So, the Mu family's press conference was held at 2:00 in the afternoon. It ended at 2:40. Then, the education department made an announcement at 3:40. After investigation, Mu Tongxue, a third-year student from Eton High School, and her mother, Su XX, disregarded the rules of the exam. They disrupted the order of the exam, bribed the invigilators, and swapped the exam papers of others. They violated the school rules and laws. So, the education department has decided that Mu Tongxue's results will be revoked. She will not be able to take the exam again for 5 years. She will be criticized by the whole nation. We hope that all the students will take this as a warning and be responsible for their future. The education department made the announcement. It caused an uproar. Just an hour ago, Mu Tongxue said that she did not cheat and that she was innocent. But the education department's decision was a huge slap to Mu Tongxue's face. 3 years was already a heavy punishment. Now, it was 5 years. Mu Tongxue would not be able to take the exam again. In other words, she would have to wait for 5 years before she could get her diploma again. Moreover, it was announced to the whole nation. Mu Tongxue fell to the ground when she heard the news. What? How could it be? Not only that, Mu Group's promise was like a joke. Everyone in the circle laughed at her. Didn't she say that she did not cheat? The education department's announcement made Mu Group's situation worse. Papa Mu's face turned pale. He wanted to go to the police station to see Mama Mu. But the police stopped him. Mr. Mu, I'm sorry. Madam Su has rejected your visit. She doesn't want to see you. This is impossible. At that moment, Mama Mu's new lawyer came out of the police station. He saw Papa Mu and walked towards him. Hello, Mr. Mu. I'm Madame Sue's lawyer. My surname is Liu. Who do you think you are? The lawyer smiled. Then, he told Papa Moo, my client will file a divorce suit against you after this matter is settled. I hope you are mentally prepared, Mr. Moo. Then, Lawyer Liu left the police station. Papa Moo was furious. After all, Mama Moo was clearly going back on her word. This time, she was defending Moo-Chi-Chi. Papa Moo was furious, and the first thing he did when he got home was give Moo-Tangxue a slap. You useless piece of trash, how could you be my daughter? Idiot! Moo-Tangxue was already feeling hopeless. She no longer had a future, and now she had to endure Papa Moo's abuse. Dad, I'm still useful to you. You can't hit me like this. You used to be very happy when I hit Moo-Chi-Chi like this. Now it's your turn. Can't take it anymore. Dad, believe me. You'll need me one day. Don't hit me anymore. Papa Moo took a deep breath and held it in. Go to your room. Don't let me see you. Moo-Tangxue dashed to her room as if she was running for her life. Her life as a princess had finally come to an end. On the other hand, the education department had punished Moo-Tangxue. But they had yet to punish Moo-Chi-Chi. They had a lot of discussions about that, and had done a lot of research on Moo-Chi-Chi's results. However, in order to maintain fairness, Moo-Chi-Chi's original score of 724 could not be counted as her result. After all, there was no guarantee that there was no tampering. Hence, the education department held a few meetings and finally came up with the following document. After investigation, Moo-Chi-Chi, a third-year student from Eden, has been found to have cheated in her college entrance examination. Hence, her results have been changed. The education department has decided to conduct a separate examination on her to prove the authenticity of her results. We hope that Moo-Chi-Chi can pull herself together as soon as possible and take part in the examination to welcome a brand new life. When Su Zipei received the call, she was so happy that she cried. It was because none of them had expected this result. She could take the examination again. That was equivalent to returning the 724 points to Moo-Chi-Chi. However, to Moo-Chi-Chi, a separate examination had lost its meaning. It was a unified examination. This kind of consoling examination would not be recognized by others, because the consoling nature of the examination was indeed unfair to the other examinees. Chi-Chi, you can enter the best department in Enchanting University. Su Zipei was very happy. Moo-Chi-Chi thought about it for the whole night. When Enchanting University knew about Moo-Chi-Chi's story, they had made a special exception for her. As long as her score was higher than Enchanting University's admission requirements, she could choose to enter any department she wanted. However, Moo-Chi-Chi contacted Liu Wenhua privately. Principal Liu, I was against going to the forensic science department at first. But now, I have a choice. I am worried. So, what do you think? Nothing. Rest early, Uncle Liu. Moo-Chi-Chi did not say anything. She hung up the phone. A few days later, she took the examination arranged by the education department. However, it was not a good feeling to sit alone in the examination room. These few days, Xing Xiao would go to the education department to pick Moo-Chi-Chi up after work. Xiao Xiao, what would you think if I still couldn't become your junior this time? What else can I think? My woman will always be my woman no matter what she does, Xing Xiao replied casually. He had set a goal for Moo-Chi-Chi because he wanted her to have the motivation to move forward. But if that goal would make Moo-Chi-Chi unhappy, then there was no need for him to persist. Don't you think we are very far apart? Chapter 90. Moo-Chi-Chi knew that Xing Xiao was telling the truth. He had the right to be proud of himself. Mu Chichi did not want to think about the turmoil in the Xing family now. She just wanted to make the choice before her. She did not want to leave any regrets. Xiao Xiao, I've thought about it for a long time. Although the education department is returning my results to me by doing this, it's still a little unfair for me to take the exam alone. Even if they don't say anything now, it doesn't mean that they will accept it. My family framed me, and it has nothing to do with them. Even if I take the exam again and get full marks, they won't accept my results. So, I have tried my best for the exam. But I have decided to listen to Uncle Lu's suggestion and go to forensic science. Why? Tell me about it. Xing Xiao pressed with interest. I was very passive before, so I was afraid. But now that I have calmed down, I suddenly realized that it is more meaningful for me to go to forensic science. First, it can shut people's mouths. In the past, I could only choose forensic science. But now, I can enter all the departments. I don't feel wronged. Secondly, Grandma's death caused me a lot of pain. Although Mu Tangxue and I were the only ones in the room at that time, I always thought that I could prove my innocence without Mu Tangxue's help one day. That's why I'm leaning towards forensic science. It's also because I want to solve my own mysteries and solve the mysteries of others. Xing Xiao chuckled at Mu Chichi's words. Since you have thought it through, why not do it? Mu Chichi smiled as well. She was completely reassured with Xing Xiao's support. You have grown up. Your thinking is much more mature. Sometimes, I only want to rely on you. However, we are together. We are going to face many difficulties. I can't be helpless. I don't care about anything else. I don't want to be a burden to you. Xiao Xiao, no matter how strong you are, I can't just wait and enjoy your protection. You don't have to say it. I understand. Xing Xiao stopped Mu Chichi from continuing, because he knew what Mu Chichi wanted to express and what her stance was. Mu Chichi, who needed his hand to teach her a year ago, could think independently now. She had her own ideas. Don't grow too fast in front of me. I won't have much fun if you do. Soon, the two of them returned to the villa. Su Zipei quickly went up to them when she saw them enter the gates. Young Master Xing, you've come just in time. The Mu family has sent someone to fetch Mu Chichi. It seems that they want to negotiate with Mu Chichi. Mu Group's stock price will not improve as long as the exam papers are not settled. Of course, the Mu family is anxious. They want Mu Chi to make a statement. Xing Xiao sat on the sofa after he finished speaking. There's nothing wrong with that. You can use this opportunity to think about what benefits you can get from Mu Group. Chi-Chi is an innocent child. How could she be so thoughtful? Not necessarily. Xing Xiao smiled meaningfully at her. Over the years, Mu Chi-Chi remembered every detail of what the Mu family had done to her. Since they would no longer be family in the future, why couldn't she ask for something from them? Chi-Chi. Aunt, do you remember Mu Tangxue's celebration a few days ago? Grandpa gave Mu Tangxue 5% of Mu Group's shares. So? Su Zipei asked Mu Chi-Chi. I just want what belongs to me, Mu Chi-Chi answered Su Zipei. Actually, Mu Chi-Chi had this idea because she was with Xing Xiao now. She might not have any conflict with the Xing family in the future. But if her aunt stayed with her, the Xing family would definitely make things difficult for her aunt. So, it was better to fight for something for her aunt. No matter if she wanted to be with Lu Wenhua or something else, at least, she did not have nothing. Xing Xiao was enough for her. But she could not live without her aunt. Since you think so, I'll reply to your grandpa and arrange a time to meet him. Thank you, Aunt, Mu Chi-Chi said to Su Zipei. Su Zipei glanced at Mu Chi-Chi. Suddenly, she felt that the child's way of thinking had changed. Of course, she knew what had caused Muchichi's change. It was the exchange of exam papers. Muchichi seemed to have grown up overnight. Her way of thinking had matured a lot. She also gained some ambition. He had never thought about it before, but now that he had found the right opportunity, he had to seize it. Gradually, he became like Xingxiao in his bones, fierceness. At night, Muchichi told Su Zipei about her thoughts. She still chose to enter the forensic science faculty. She also told her that she would live in the dormitory when she went to university. Are you telling me this because you are afraid that I will be bored at home? I have something to do too. Su Zipei said. Don't worry. I have my own plans for you to go to university. Are you really not going to consider Uncle Lu? Who told you about him? Su Zipei's expression became unnatural. But just as Muchichi expected, Su Zipei did not reject Lu Wenhua as much as before. But Muchichi smiled and did not expose her. At 11:00 at night, Muchichi went out without telling Su Zipei. When she followed Xingxiao to the new house, she saw a new dress hanging in the bedroom. It was white and it matched her skin very well. It's a brand under Huang Yao. They released the latest style this year. I think it's not bad, so I brought it for you. Muchichi hugged Xingxiao. She was very happy. I was just thinking about what to wear when I go to the Mu family tomorrow. You prepared it for me. Xiao Xiao, you must be a parasite in my stomach. If it's less than 10% of the shares, we can forget about the conditions. Also, since you are going to the Mu family, you must greet Mu Tangxue. Bring 4 lawyers with you, so many lawyers. Muchichi asked with a smile. Don't you know who you are dealing with? Xingxiao asked her. But at that moment, Muchichi suddenly hooked her arms around Xingxiao's neck. She kissed him so that he could not speak. Xingxiao reacted and hooked his arms around Muchichi's waist. He pressed her against him. What are you playing at now? I am going to be a university student soon. I am not young anymore, am I? Do you know what to do? Xingxiao rubbed her waist and asked her seductively. Do you know? Chapter 91. Do you think I'm not qualified? Muchichi stopped Xingxiao and asked. You are the only qualified person in the whole world. What else do you want? Xingxiao pushed her onto the big bed. Sleep. I really have something to do. Muchichi was relieved. She nodded and went into the bathroom to wash up. When she was done and returned to the bedroom, Xingxiao was no longer there. If he had something to do, why did he keep her in the new house instead of sending her back? It was because Xingxiao believed that she was the mistress of the house. If the mistress did not stay in the house, where should she stay? As for what Xingxiao said, it was because Jing Yun had called him because of Mama Xing's sudden attack. So, he had to go to another place first. Mama Xing looked around the house that she had prepared for Xingxiao. She saw traces of Xingxiao's life everywhere and asked Jing Yun, does young master bring women back usually? Occasionally. Jing Yun answered. Mama Xing was satisfied with the answer. Otherwise, what was Xingxiao's intention to move out? What kind of people? Young ladies or those? I've only met them once. Moreover, young master did not allow me to investigate their identities. Jing Yun answered honestly. Madam, you know young master's temper. I can't interfere with his private affairs. All right. Everyone knows what he is like. It's fine as long as he has women. He promised me to get married in 2 years. I want to see what kind of surprise he will bring back then. As they talked, Xingxiao drove to the villa. He was surprised to see Mama Xing at home. "Why are you here, Mom?" "Of course I'm here to see how exciting Xing Zhao's life is." Mama Xing snorted. "You can't stay at home anymore after moving out. I can't see you, so of course I have to come here myself." "You see me now?" Xing Zhao asked with a chuckle. "I'm relieved to have Jing Yun by your side. Remember what you promised me." With that, Mama Xing had an idea of Xing Zhao's private life. She was about to leave. "Come and see your mother when you have time." "I know." Then, Mama Xing drove away. Xing Zhao looked at Jing Yun and asked, "What did you ask? Were there any women coming in and out?" "What kind of women were they?" Jing Yun replied. Xing Zhao snorted coldly. The entire Xing family was probably watching his private life. "Young master, you can't keep hiding like this. Sooner or later, you'll have to face it. That's my business." "So, she's the only one?" Jing Yun asked tentatively. "Jing Yun, one day, when you fall in love with someone, you will understand how I feel." Xing Zhao did not explain much, and drove back to Mu Qiqi's side half an hour after Mama Xing returned home. When he turned on the lights and saw Mu Qiqi sleeping soundly on the big bed, he felt very calm. In her dreams, Mu Qiqi felt someone carrying her. Her body was light as a feather, but she could not open her eyes. The next morning, the Mu family drove to the little mansion to pick Mu Qiqi up. Mu Qiqi was wearing her cream-colored chiffon dress. She was accompanied by 4 lawyers. They arrived at the Mu family's house. Papa Mu and Grandpa Mu did not expect Mu Qiqi to bring so many lawyers with her. Naturally, they were not happy about it. "Qiqi, can't you just treat it as a casual chat between family members? Do you still have the mood to chat with Mu Group in such a situation, Mr. Mu?" Mu Qiqi asked Papa Mu in return. "I believe I've seen through both of you after all these years in the Mu family. That's why I'll skip the pompous talk and get straight to the point. Are you going to hide anything from me?" Papa Mu and Grandpa Mu did not expect Mu Qiqi to be so sharp-tongued. They really had to look at her in a different light. "What do you want in order to let Mu Group go?" "It's your mother and Shui, who are in charge of the exchange of exam papers. It has nothing to do with Mu Group. On the day of the celebration party, I saw that Mu Tongxue had brought you a lot of glory. Why are you trying to distance yourself from her now?" "Tell me what you want," Papa Mu said directly. 10% of Mu Group's shares. As long as you agree, I will let Mu Group go and put in a good word for Mu Group. Are you dreaming? Grandpa Mu shouted angrily. Do you know how much 10% is? Grandpa gave Mu Tongxue 5% of the shares on the day of the celebration party. Why is it a dream for me? Mu Qiqi asked Grandpa Mu. Are you still going to be biased at such a time? I don't care if you believe me or not. I didn't give Grandma too much medicine. Mu Tongxue is so good at acting. Don't you know what's going on? Mu Qiqi said stubbornly. Of course, I will find the evidence whether you believe me or not. Qiqi, I can give you the shares of Mu Group. But, isn't it too much to ask for 10%? Papa Mu tried to negotiate with Mu Qiqi. I only have 12% of the shares. Do you want 10%? Don't you think that's too much? I'm just giving you a suggestion. Of course, you can choose not to come to me. Qiqi, who taught you to be so greedy? Grandpa Mu was very interested in the person behind Mu Qiqi. Is that French tycoon teaching others to fight for their property? I'm sorry, but that French tycoon is your enemy. He is Xing Zhao. You just need to answer me whether you agree or not. Or do you want to continue to see if you can endure it? Papa Mu was very angry. But Mu Chi-Chi brought 4 lawyers with her. He did not dare to do anything. "Give us 2 days to think about it," Papa Mu said to Mu Chi-Chi. "I will give you an answer after 2 days. And I have another condition." Mu Chi-Chi's eyes were sneaking a peek at Mu Tongshua's room as she spoke. "I want to meet my twin sister." "In her room," Papa Mu answered impatiently. But Grandpa Mu still believed what he saw and heard with his own ears. He had already sentenced Mu Chi-Chi to death in his heart. It was the stubbornness of an old man. The negotiations were soon over, and Mu Chi-Chi led her lawyer to the door of the room she had not seen for a long time. It was Mu Tongshua's room right across from it. Papa Mu was anxious and angry when he saw Mu Chi-Chi walking out of the study. "Dad, what should we do now?" 10%. She wants to take 10%. Why would an 18-year-old girl want the shares? Could it be that the person behind her, or Su Zipei, is plotting against Mu Group? I would rather die than agree to it. Then, just wait and see. The shares of Mu Group will fall even more when her results are out. Grandpa Mu snorted. "Also, my daughter-in-law will sue you for divorce when she comes out." That was one disaster after another for Papa Mu. At that moment, Mu Chi-Chi had reached Mu Tongshua's room. Didn't Mu Tongshua like to fight? Chapter 92. There was only a wall separating them, but the difference in treatment between the 2 sisters was like the difference between clouds and mud. In the past, Mu Chi-Chi would not simply enter Mu Tongshua's room. First, she was worried that she would be the scapegoat for her, and second, she was afraid that she would be framed. However, Mu Tongshua's room had a lot of good stuff. She would be lying if she said she was not envious. However, today, the 2 of them had finally experienced an earth-shattering change. It was almost impossible for Mu Tongshua to make a name for herself in Jianchuan now, wasn't it? With that thought, Mu Chi-Chi pushed open the door of Mu Tongshua's room and saw the girl sitting by the bed. Her hair was disheveled, her face pale, and her eyes empty. So, this was the terrifying face of a defeated person. Mu Tongshua heard the door open and saw Mu Chi-Chi standing in front of it. The 2 sisters looked very similar, but looking at them now, they didn't seem to have anything in common. "Sister, are you here to kick me when I'm down?" Mu Chi-Chi walked into the room when she heard Mu Tongshua's question. Then, she glanced at her room and asked calmly, "Do you know how envious I was of having so many good things in your room that I don't have? Sister, you have been my scapegoat since you were young. That's why you couldn't get any love from your family. I thought that this situation would last for the rest of my life, and that I would be protected by you for the rest of my life. But where did I go wrong? You framed me before, including what happened to Grandma, and even when I was chased out of the Mu family, but I didn't hate you that much until you exchanged my exam papers." Mu Chi-Chi said to Mu Tongshua. "Do you know? When you took my score and flaunted it everywhere, I really wanted to strangle you to death. But now you've won. I have nothing, and I'm locked in my room by Dad. What else do you want from me? Are you satisfied with me?" Mu Chi-Chi lowered her head to look at Mu Tongshua and asked seriously. "No. So, you're just lucky now. We're just having a temporary truce. Do you think I'll let you go so easily? That's impossible. Elder sister, we've already fought to this extent. What other leeway is there? Your mommy chose me, your father hates you to the core, your grandpa doesn't care about you, and you're still carrying the punishment from the education department. What else do you have to fight with me?" Mu Tongshua laughed at Mu Chi-Chi's words, even tearing up. "Sister, I'm really not used to such scheming words coming from your mouth. The man behind you must have given you a lot of ideas, right? Although I can't find anything now, there will be a day when you give yourself away. When that time comes, You and that man of yours will definitely be turned into ashes by me. You'll never have that chance. Don't forget, you're in the light now, and I'm in the dark. It's too easy to touch you. The conversation between the two sisters did not sound like something a pair of 18-year-old twins would say. It sounded more like a game between adults. Of course, Mu Chi-Chi had long since stopped treating herself and Mu Tongxue as little girls. Ever since the day she found out that her test papers had been switched. Is that so? Let's wait and see. Then, Mu Chi-Chi left Mu Tongxue's room. She was sure that Mu Tongxue still had the courage to fight even if she had nothing now. Perhaps Mu Tongxue's nature meant that they could only be enemies. They could never be sisters. Therefore, before she left the Mu family, Mu Chi-Chi told Papa Mu, "You should keep a close eye on Mu Tongxue, Mr. Mu. Otherwise, she wouldn't be content." Then, Mu Chi-Chi and the lawyer returned to the small mansion. Papa Mu was furious. Now, the whole family was counting on Mu Chi-Chi to put in a good word for the Mu family. But Mu Tongxue was still stirring up trouble. When Mu Chi-Chi left, Papa Mu quickly went to Mu Tongxue's room, grabbed her hair and gave her a tight slap. "Do you believe that I'll strangle you to death?" Mu Tongxue had been tormented by Papa Mu for the past few days. She shuddered when she saw his ferocious face. When they returned to the small mansion, Mu Chi-Chi told Su Zipei about her negotiations with the Mu family. Su Zipei could not help shaking her head and sighing after listening to Mu Chi-Chi's description. There's really nothing good in the Mu family. How's Mu Tongxue doing now? She still wouldn't admit defeat. That's why I deliberately reminded the Mu family to be careful of Mu Tongxue when we left. That's why she couldn't avoid a beating. Mu Chi-Chi answered Su Zipei. Aunt Zipei, even so, I still haven't vented my anger enough. Su Zipei stroked Mu Chi-Chi's hair and comforted her. You have everything now. You don't have to be afraid of that. Moreover, we still have a long way to go. The Mu family was still struggling on the brink of death. They would definitely be dealt a second blow once her results were out. It all depended on whether the Mu family was willing to part with the 10% of the shares. Chi-Chi, I see that you've become a lot more depressed recently. You're not as happy as before. The Mu family is suffering now. You could go to Qian or some other friends to relax. I'm fine, Aunt Zipei. Mu Chi-Chi smiled. I have a bright future now. Don't worry, I won't sulk over the scum of the Mu family. It's all over now. That's good. Leave your mother's matter to me. Don't worry. Mu Chi-Chi hugged Su Zipei and acted coquettishly in her arms just like before. Aunt Zipei, thank goodness you're here. It's young Master Xing who helped you. You should thank him. With that, Su Zipei returned the recording pen to Mu Chi-Chi. Young Master Xing gave it to you. Keep it for self-defense. It was the first gift Xing Xiao gave her, which was why she cherished it. Although she had not used the pen yet, Mu Chi-Chi still took it back because it meant a lot to her. All right. You must be tired. Go and rest. Su Zipei could not help coughing when she said that. Mu Chi-Chi noticed it immediately. Aunt Zipei, do you have a cold? It's just a cough. I'll be fine after taking some medicine. Chapter 93. Lu Wenhua was supposed to come over in the afternoon. But Su Zipei was afraid that he would know that she was sick, so she told him that she was going out. Late at night, when Lu Wenhua was calling Su Zipei, he heard her coughing. So, he was worried and rushed to the villa. Su Zipei was shocked when she saw that. Luckily, Chi-Chi is asleep. Otherwise, if you stay in the mansion so late at night, people will gossip about you. Susie Pei was shocked. You have a fever. I will take care of you and then I will leave. Lu Wenhua smiled. Susie Pei could not stop him. She could only let him do whatever he wanted. But Susie Pei's fever only subsided at around 11 o'clock. Lu Wenhua packed his things and was about to leave. But he heard Mu Qiqi coming down the stairs quietly. Then Mu Qiqi went out. Lu Wenhua followed behind her. He saw her getting into Xing Zhao's car with his own eyes. Lu Wenhua was shocked when he saw that. Because of Mu Qiqi's diary, the whole school knew about it. But it was just a little girl's thought. He did not care about it. But if she went out with Xing Zhao, it would be different. Or perhaps the two of them had matters to attend to, and he was overthinking things. But no matter what, he would not be able to rest in peace if he did not get the answer. After all, he had treated Mu Qiqi and Susie Pei as his family. When they arrived at the new house, Mu Qiqi told Xing Zhao everything that happened in the Mu family, including the condition she proposed to the Mu family. Xing Zhao saw that Mu Qiqi was fearless even when facing the Xing family. He could not help but lift Mu Qiqi's chin. He looked into her eyes and said, I believe that you have grown up this time. After all, you are much bolder than before. Xiao Xiao. Do you think the Mu family will agree to it? Mu Qiqi is in trouble now. The other brothers of the Mu family will not just sit and watch. After Mama Mu is released from the police station, she will ask for a divorce. He will agree to it in order to calm Mu group down as soon as possible. I am relieved. I just want to get some benefits for Aunt Pei. Why don't you get some benefits for yourself? I have you. I have everything. I don't need anything else. Mu Qiqi looked at him seriously. Am I right? Xing Zhao chuckled and tapped her head. Aren't you going to take a shower? I'm over there. I've showered. Mu Qiqi rubbed her head and said, I'll go get the water for you. When Xing Zhao saw Mu Qiqi turn around, he thought about how they had never gone to the last step even though there had been many things that had happened before. Both of them did not have such thoughts. But now that things had finally stabilized and they had entered the stage of cohabitation, he did not have to worry so much anymore. That was why he was wrapped in a towel when he came out of the bathroom. His bronze-colored skin was still dripping with water droplets. His body was muscular and sexy, especially his slender thighs. To Mu Qiqi, not a single part of his body was not seductive. So she quickly closed her eyes. Why didn't you put on your clothes today? Xing Zhao walked up to Mu Qiqi and pushed her down on the bed. He pressed himself against her and asked in an extremely sexy voice, What do you think? Of course I'm going to do you. Mu Qiqi suddenly tensed up. But you're so sudden. I'm not prepared for anything. As Mu Qiqi spoke, Xing Zhao had already pulled open the drawer of the bedside table, where there were all sorts of condoms. Did you think Jing Yun wouldn't prepare something like this for me? Mu Qiqi's eyes widened. Mu Qiqi wanted to say something, but Xing Zhao had already lifted her pajamas. Little bastard, I want you. With that, Xing Zhao unbuttoned Mu Qiqi's pajamas and leaned over to kiss her. This kiss was different from before. Mu Qiqi was both looking forward to it and afraid. She had thought about it many times. But she never thought that it would happen tonight. Mu Qiqi hooked her arms around Xing Zhao's neck. Her body could not help but cooperate. It was their first time and they did not have much experience. They were just relying on instinct. Mu Qiqi was lost in Xing Zhao's perfect body. Every muscle on his body was smooth and strong to the touch. But Xing Zhao's experience was not so good. Do you really think everything is small when I call you little thing? Only your waist is passable on your whole body. Mu Qiqi was very shy. She could not help but look for something to hide from Xing Zhao's gaze. But Xing Zhao simply threw the thin blanket away. I'll naturally get someone to help you with your body now. Xiao, the man's kiss, the man's sweat, the unbearably intimate atmosphere and the already messy bed were all stimulating Muqiqi's nerves. She did not even know when Xing Zhao opened the drawer, or when he was ready to take her. Muqiqi looked at Xing Zhao. There was no sign of retreat in her eyes either. She was very determined. She wanted all of this man, a complete everything. Then, Muqiqi felt pain. It was the pain of being stretched and torn apart. She could not help resisting. Xiao, it hurts. It really hurts. Xing Zhao reached out to hold Muqiqi but did not continue. He saw that Muqiqi's face was pale from the pain, and he did not dare to move. After all, it was like taking Muqiqi's life when he penetrated just a little. If he really disregarded everything and forced himself, Muqiqi would not be able to get out of bed for a long time. He still had to feel sorry for his little thing. So, he carried Muqiqi into the bathroom and put her in the warm bathtub. Muqiqi sobered up a little from the pain. She buried her head in Xing Zhao's chest and paused for a moment. Then, she said hoarsely, Xiao, why don't we? No. Xing Zhao answered directly. We'll talk about it when you're better. But, that pain is unavoidable. Close your eyes. Xing Zhao ordered domineeringly. Muqiqi did not dare to move and could only close her eyes. Even so, she could feel Xing Zhao's hands cleaning her body. Then, the two lay on the messy bed. The ambiguous atmosphere had yet to disperse, and Muqiqi leaned into Xing Zhao's arms. She could not help asking, Xiao, do we sleep? Xing Zhao said quietly. Are you disappointed? At that, Xing Zhao reached over with one long leg and pressed it over Muqiqi. You're still not mature enough. It's normal that you can't tolerate me. Chapter 94. Muqiqi was at ease in his arms. She closed her eyes and said, Do I need to choose anyone else when I have you? Does it still hurt there? Xing Zhao asked from above her head. It hurts when I move, Muqiqi answered honestly. Xing Zhao got up from the bed and put on his clothes. Muqiqi was puzzled. She wanted to ask him but he had already picked up the car key from the bedside table. I'm going out for a while. You sleep first. Xiao. Muqiqi wanted to get up but Xing Zhao had already disappeared from the room. Muqiqi did not know where he went. She started to think about it. But in less than half an hour, Xing Zhao came back with the medicine in his hand. Xiao, Xing Zhao went to the bathroom to wash his hands. Then, he went back to the bed and lifted Muqiqi's blanket. Muqiqi was stunned. She wanted to get up but Xing Zhao stopped her. This medicine can relieve the pain a little. I'll do it myself, can you see? Xing Zhao snorted. Muqiqi blushed. She had never thought that Xing Zhao would do such a thing for her even though they were already so close. But with Xing Zhao's status, he could do whatever he wanted without caring about her feelings. But he was so considerate. Muqiqi just lay there. After a while, she felt the body next to her sinking. She jumped into Xing Zhao's arms. She was very satisfied. Xiao, you are the best to me. You are useless. Xing Zhao hugged Muqiqi. Although his words were harsh, his body was honest. He comforted Muqiqi and coaxed her to sleep. Their first time did not go well. Of course, it was not terrible either. What they did not know was that Lu Wenhua saw them going out in the middle of the night. He was already suspicious. But when he saw Muqiqi the next day, Lu Wenhua did not expose Muchichi. Because he still needed to know if they were in a relationship or if they really went out in the middle of the night because of something. Thanks to you, I feel much better. Su Zipei thanked Lu Wenhua. She looked at Lu Wenhua with a much gentler gaze. When she married that bastard, she had never been taken care of like this. So, she would not be lying if she said that she was not moved. I'm glad you're fine. Lu Wenhua answered Su Zipei. Then, he asked, is Qiqi close to young Master Xing? Young Master Xing is our greatest benefactor. Qiqi relies on him the most, and he takes good care of us. Su Zipei smiled. Young Master Xing is not like what the rumors say. He is just unforgiving. That's right. Is Mu Qiqi close to young Master Xing in private? I didn't. Su Zipei shook her head. Young Master Xing is very busy with work. He doesn't come to the villa often. What's wrong? Why did you suddenly ask? It's nothing. I just feel that young Master Xing really cares about Mu Qiqi. Lu Wenhua had only seen it once. Of course, he couldn't just tell Su Zipei like that. He had to confirm it. It would be best if things did not turn out the way he expected. But if there were feelings between the two that they shouldn't have, things would get complicated. Leaving aside the consequences of Su Zipei learning about it, Xing Xiao's reason for helping Muchichi was not as simple as it seemed. Hence, Lu Wenhua decided to observe a few more times. Meanwhile, the members of the Mu family were still in a terrible predicament, because Muchichi's conditions had indeed exceeded their bottom line. Papa Mu hoped that he could get Muchichi's help without paying any price. But deep down in his heart, he knew that it was impossible. Mu Group was in trouble now. His brothers were pressuring him. Ever since Papa Mu took over Mu Group, he had never been so troubled. Mu Tongxue had been beaten up for a few days. She knew that if she didn't fight back, she might not be able to win back Papa Mu's heart. So, late at night, she kept thinking of a way to regain her father's favor. After all, she had nowhere else to go other than Mu Group. After she thought of a way, she walked out of her room. She tiptoed to Papa Mu's study room. Papa Mu said in an unfriendly tone when he saw her at the door, "Why are you here?" "Dad, I'm here to help you," Mu Tongxue said to Papa Mu. "As long as you still think that I'm your daughter, I'm willing to give you the 5% of Mu Group's shares that Grandpa gave me. It's to appease your anger. Do you think that you can still keep your shares?" "Dad, apart from this, there's also the matter of Mommy wanting to divorce you. I can help you deal with the aftermath. I promise, she won't take a single cent from you." Papa Mu looked at Mu Tongxue. He thought that it was a joke for an 18-year-old girl to say something like that. But, after laughing, Papa Mu became serious again. Because he knew that he had a wrong impression of his two daughters in the past. Mu Tongxue's strength was not shown at all. Thinking about that, Papa Mu nodded and waved at Mu Tongxue. "Shua, come here." Mu Tongxue walked to Papa Mu. Papa Mu stood up and patted her shoulder. "As long as you can help me solve these two problems, I won't be angry with you anymore. Everything will go back to how it was before. You'll still be the most beloved daughter of the Mu family. Dad, don't worry." With the 5% of Mu Tongxue's shares and the other half that Grandpa Mu was willing to give up, it was not a problem to solve Muchichi's problem as long as it did not harm his interests. "But I won't be able to go to school anymore." "You can't go to school. But the Ministry of Education did not say that you can't invite a teacher to our house. It's just that you can't take the exam for 5 years. You can learn first. After 5 years you'll get a diploma." It was so easy to reach a consensus. Mu Tongxue thought about the humiliation and hatred that Muchichi brought to her. It was fine. She would let Mu Chi-chi have the upper hand now. When the time was right, she would get it back. Are you really confident about your mother's matter? Dad, trust me, Mu Tongxue said to Papa Mu. Mu Tongxue replied to Papa Mu. I'll learn my lesson this time. I won't do such a shameful thing again. It's good that you know. So, the Mu family decided on the shares. They contacted Su Zipei as soon as possible. Su Zipei called Lu Wenhua out of reflex. Chapter 95. Mu Chi-chi was already an adult. Logically speaking, it was not a bad thing to be in a relationship. But it was complicated between Mu Chi-chi and Xing Xiao. First of all, the two families were enemies. Secondly, they were the benefactors of each other now. He did not want to think about how much trouble the Xing family would put in when they were together. Mu Chi-chi was still young. Lu Wenhua did not want her to get involved in a relationship at such a young age. Especially when it was with Xing Xiao. After all, Xing Xiao was the crown prince of Huangyao. He would inherit his father's position and become the CEO of the Diamond Empire. So, Xing Xiao did not have the right to choose his partner. So, he had to confirm their relationship. It would be best if he guessed wrong. But, if he guessed right, he had to do something. Soon, it was 11 o'clock at night. Mu Chi-chi went out as promised. She got into Xing Xiao's car and the two of them disappeared at the entrance of the small mansion. Lu Wenhua wanted to follow them but he was afraid that Xing Xiao would notice him. So, he stopped outside the small mansion. If he told Su Zipei about it now, Mu Chi-chi would be caught red-handed. But, he did not want to agitate Su Zipei. He wanted to think about how to deal with it. Not long after Xing Xiao left, Lu Wenhua also left. Xing Xiao had planted his men in the security area of the small mansion. So, when he saw Lu Wenhua leaving with Xing Xiao, he immediately called Xing Xiao. Young Master Xing, Mr. Lu seems to be following you. Xing Xiao stopped the car by the roadside and turned off the engine. Not long after, Lu Wenhua's car passed by them. Mu Chi-chi did not know what Xing Xiao meant. So, she asked, "What's wrong?" "Principal Lu found you in my car." Xing Xiao replied with a gloomy look. Then, he asked Mu Chi-chi, "Do you want to admit it or clarify it?" Xing Xiao did not care about who knew about it. But, he cared about Mu Chi-chi's feelings. As long as Mu Chi-chi said that she would clarify it, Lu Wenhua's misunderstanding would be cleared up soon. "Xiao Xiao, do you think Uncle Lu will tell Aunt Zipei?" Lu Wenhua is very careful. "If he is not sure, he will not tell your aunt," Xing Xiao replied. Then, he started the engine again. "Then, what will be the consequences if he finds out?" Mu Chi-chi looked at him and asked seriously, "I'm going to university soon. I'm an adult too. My privacy and private life should be protected." Compared to her previous panic, Mu Chi-chi was much calmer now. "I'm afraid Lu Wenhua won't think so." Xing Xiao smiled dangerously. "Who do you think I am? What kind of person was he?" "Forget it. You don't have to worry about it." "Why?" "He will definitely come to me first," Xing Xiao answered confidently, and entered the new house with Mu Chi-chi. Remembering that the Mu family had agreed to give her shares, she asked, "Can I transfer the shares to Aunt Zipei now? Are you sure you won't leave any for yourself?" Mu Chi-chi shook her head. "I'm following you. Why do I need the Mu Jia's shares?" Because she didn't want to be entangled with the Mu family. Because if her relationship with Xing Xiao were to be exposed one day, at least she would be able to distance herself from the Mu family. Xing Xiao understood what she meant. He pinched her face. "I've told you before. You don't need to think about me. You can fight for what you want. I want you. Mu Qiqi answered Xing Xiao straightforwardly. But it was a psychological need. But, as Xing Xiao misunderstood it. Your body needs to rest a little more. Xing Xiao carried her into the bathroom. They came out after an hour. As for what happened in the bathroom, Mu Qiqi's red face could explain it. After a while, Mu Qiqi fell asleep in Xing Xiao's arms. As for Xing Xiao, he thought that he would have to meet Lu Wenhua first tomorrow. The next morning, Xing Xiao went back to Huangyao first. Jing Yun received a call from Lu Wenhua. It was a formal call. It seemed that Lu Wenhua was serious about it. Young master, you have half an hour during lunch break. You can meet Principal Lu. Arrange a place where people won't notice. Remind me when I meet him, Xing Xiao answered. Understood. Jing Yun made the arrangements. It was a cafe opposite Huangyao. During lunch break, Xing Xiao went to the cafe. When he saw Lu Wenhua, he did not wait for him to speak. Xing Xiao said, "Are you looking for me because of Qiqi? It seems that young Master Xing already knows about it. I've arranged someone to watch you in the villa." He saw your whereabouts, Xing Xiao answered straightforwardly. Lu Wenhua frowned when he saw that. He asked Xing Xiao, "You and Qiqi, I thought that you already understand." Young Master Xing, why? You know that nothing will happen between you and Qiqi. She is still a child. If you treat her like this, what will happen to her when you two separate in the future? Let's not talk about the feud between your two families. Even if there is no grudge between you two, how can anyone enter the Xing family just because they want to? Lu Wenhua questioned Xing Xiao directly. But Xing Xiao was very calm. There was even a smile at the corner of his mouth. Since you came to me, it means that your feelings for Aunt Zipei are real, Xing Xiao replied. Now, I want to know your thoughts. What do you think about Qiqi? I, Xing Xiao, never hide my private affairs. You should know that, Principal Lu. But Qiqi did not want Aunt Zipei to be sad and worried. So, we did not reveal our relationship to the public. How dare you reveal it to the public? The Xing family can eat Qiqi. How do you know that I can't protect Qiqi, Principal Lu? Xing Xiao looked at Lu Wenhua firmly and asked. She is mine. Since I approve of her, I will not let anyone hurt her. You say it so easily now. But, in the future, your parents will pressure you. Do you think that I am someone who relies on my parents? Even if you are very capable, what if your parents threaten you? What if your father threatens you with death? After listening to Lu Wenhua's words, Xing Xiao could not help but laugh. Principal Lu, you must have read too many romance novels. I believe that you have heard about me before. As long as I have set my eyes on someone or something, no one can touch it unless they step over my body. Moreover, what is done cannot be undone. Qiqi and I are indeed together. It is the truth whether you accept it or not, Principal Lu. When the time is right, I will tell Aunt Zipei. If you don't want her to get hurt, you better listen to me. Actually, Lu Wenhua knew that he could not change anything by coming to Xing Xiao today. But, he did not expect that Xing Xiao would admit it so easily. I have something to do in the afternoon. Sorry, I cannot accompany you. Then, Xing Xiao stood up and left Lu Wenhua. At this time, Jing Yun said something to Lu Wenhua. In the beginning, I was the same as you. I strongly opposed it. But, in the end, I could not win against young master's persistence. I am not asking you to rest assured. I can only tell you that I cannot guarantee that Miss Mu will not get hurt. But, I can guarantee that young master will bear all the pain that Miss Mu suffers. Chapter 96. Xing Xiao had said it just now. What was done could not be undone. Could it be that Lu Wenhua did not understand the meaning of these words? Moreover, they went out at night and came back the next morning. Even if Xing Xiao did not say it, Lu Wenhua would know that Mu Qiqi and Xing Xiao were inseparable now. He did not think that he could change anything. He just wanted to know what Xing Xiao was thinking and how he was going to help Mu Qiqi settle down in the future. Lu Wenhua felt terrible when he saw the current situation. He had to think from Su Zipei's point of view. Principal Lu, if there is nothing else, please leave. Lu Wenhua took a deep breath, stood up and left the cafe. Then, he drove to the small mansion. But Mu Qiqi was not at home. Why are you here at this time? Have you had lunch? No. Lu Wenhua shook his head. Then, I will cook for you. Just wait for a while. Lu Wenhua did not want to eat Su Zipei's food. He just wanted to give her a chance to talk. But he did not want to do it on purpose. So, he sat down at the dining table and saw Su Zipei serving him a bowl of noodle soup. He could not help but remind her. It is not safe outside these days. You and Mu Qiqi should not go out at night. We usually sleep at around 10 o'clock. Why should we go out at night? Su Zipei was anxious when she saw that he wanted to say something. What do you want to say? Nothing. You had a fever last time. When I left, I heard some rustling sounds. I don't know if it was a rat or a thief. You should be careful at night. Lu Wenhua said and focused on eating his noodles. Because he could not tell Su Zipei directly. But he could not say nothing either. He could only remind Su Zipei. He hoped that she would notice the relationship between Mu Qiqi and Xing Xiao. I know. Su Zipei did not care. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon, the education department announced Mu Qiqi's final exam result. She got a total of 731 points. It was higher than her previous score of 724 points. Of course, the education department monitored her entire exam. They did not give her any special privileges. The education department also posted her questions on the internet so that people could compare the answers. Although it was a series of actions to clear Mu Qiqi's name, Mu Qiqi had already applied to study forensic science. Just as Xing Xiao expected, after Mu Qiqi's results were exposed, the matter of exchanging test papers that had just died down was brought up again. Mu Group's shares had been affected several times and they had suffered huge losses. Papa Mu could not stand it any longer, and so arranged to meet with his lawyer and Mu Qiqi so that Mu Qiqi could speak up as soon as possible. 10% of Mu Group's shares was not a small amount. However, Papa Mu knew that the loss of Mu Group would be more severe if he delayed any longer. That was when Mu Tongxue suggested that she would go with her lawyer. As long as she apologized to Mu Qiqi would forgive the Mu family faster. Papa Mu thought about it and did not stop her. Since he had promised to restore Mu Tongxue's status as the daughter of the Mu family, he would give her that chance. That was why Mu Tongxue and the Mu family's lawyer went to the little mansion together. Su Zipei quickly asked the Mu family's lawyer when she saw Mu Tongxue. Why is she here? Miss Mu, I'm here to apologize. It's okay, Aunt Zipei. Mu Qiqi said to Su Zipei. Now that my results are out and the share transfer agreement has been delivered, you don't have to be afraid of her. Why should I be afraid of her? I'm just worried that you will feel uncomfortable. Su Zipei snorted. I didn't expect that the Mu family would forgive her so soon. That's not surprising. After all, Mu Tongxue can't scold her for the rest of her life. She won't be satisfied with that. It was Mu Tongxue's first time entering the little mansion. What other reason could she have for coming to Mu Qiqi's new home? She just wanted to see if she could find any clues from the little mansion. She wanted to see if the man behind Muchichi had left any traces in the little mansion. Miss Mu, the share transfer agreement will be completed after you sign it here, the lawyer reminded Muchichi. Aunt Zipe, please sign it. Muchichi pulled Su Zipe and said, I'll give you the 10% shares. Chi-chi. Su Zipe was stunned. Aunt Zipe, this is my gift to you. Sign it now so that we don't have to trouble the lawyer to transfer the shares. Muchichi said to Su Zipe. You've helped me and taken care of me. You deserve it. But, Aunt Zipe, it's useless for me to hold the shares now. Muchichi glanced at Mu Tongxue, who was sitting beside the lawyer when she said that. She realized that Mu Tongxue had put away her bad habit of acting after the blow. She was much quieter now. However, she did not think that Mu Tongxue's quietness was a sign of regret. She was thinking and plotting a scheme. Su Zipe thought about it again and again. Finally, she signed it. I'm just keeping it for you temporarily. Muchichi had no intention of taking it back since she had given it to Mu Tongxue. She just wanted the Mu family to pay the price and make them suffer. Then, Mu Tongxue stood up and said to Muchichi, Sister, I'm sorry. It was my fault in the past. I hope you can forgive me. Whether I forgive you or not, we won't have anything to do with each other anymore. You can be your mistress and I'll study in my university. I'll learn my lesson in the future. You don't have to say why you're here. We both know that you're not the second young lady who likes to pretend to be pitiful, and I'm not the scapegoat who gets bullied. From now on, I just hope that you won't mess with me. I'll remember that. Mu Tongxue did not refute a single word, appearing very obedient and obedient. However, Muchichi would not fall for that. Since you've remembered it, you can leave now. Sister, before I leave, can I visit your room? Muchichi sneered and nodded. Sure. Then, the two sisters entered Muchichi's room one after the other. Mu Tongxue looked around after she entered the room and said, It's better for you to be here than at the Mu family. What clues did you find? Can you find my wild man now? Muchichi asked in return. Be careful if you want to find him. I'll be in your care in the future, sister. The meaning behind Mu Tongxue's words was clear. She would not let Muchichi off so easily, and would definitely bite her to death. Even so, Muchichi was not afraid. Bring it on. I've chosen forensics anyway. If you feed someone the wrong medicine in the future, we'll have corpses to talk. Mu Tongxue looked up at Muchichi. The girl's change was certainly surprising and surprising. Sister, that man has changed you too much. Chapter 97. Xing Xiao only gave Muchichi the courage to fight back. But, if Mu Tongxue did not hurt her again and again, Muchichi thought that she would not have so many troubles at the age of 18. Soon, Mu Tongxue left the small mansion with the Mu family's lawyer. Meanwhile, Su Zipe asked Muchichi, What did you two talk about? Aunt, I will not be wronged again. You can be sure about that. But, you have given me all your shares, giving them to you is more useful than giving them to me. Then, you won't feel that you are trying to climb up the social ladder with Uncle Lu. Muchichi smiled. Su Zipe took a deep breath and patted Muchichi's head. You have changed a lot in these few months. I can't keep up with you anymore. Aunt, I have just grown up. But, I still need Uncle Lu's help to speak for Mu Group. I know what to do. Also, the lawyer said that she can be released on bail until the trial. Aunt, I will have to trouble you with her. I don't want to see her. Muchichi knew who Su Zipe was talking about. The first thing Mama Mu would do after she was released from the detention center would be to divorce Papa Mu. So, Mu Chi-Chi just wanted to watch the drama unfold. She could not see anything like family love from Mamamoo. Okay, I know. Everything went smoothly. But Lu Wenhua did not expect that Mu Chi-Chi would give all the shares of Mu Group to Su Zipei without holding anything back. Aside from Xing Xiao, Mu Chi-Chi and Su Zipei were truly relying on each other. Even so, he was still worried that Su Zipei would be hurt if she found out about it. Su Zipei kept Lu Wenhua's words in mind. She thought that there was something going on in the middle of the night. So, she listened carefully. Because of that, she saw Mu Chi-Chi going out at 11 o'clock at night. She saw Mu Chi-Chi going out. But, she did not know where she was going or who she was meeting. Although Mu Chi-Chi had gone out before, it was to buy snacks. But this time, Su Zipei realized that Mu Chi-Chi did not come home until 1 in the morning. She could have found out where Mu Chi-Chi was with just a phone call, but she would be fooled if Mu Chi-Chi came up with some other excuse. That was why she simply said nothing. Mu Chi-Chi did not know that Su Zipei had found out about her going out after Lu Wenhua's reminder. After all, she would go to her new home at night even if it was stormy. Because that was the only time she could be with Xing Xiao. After hearing about what happened during the day, Xing Xiao put Mu Chi-Chi on the washstand and leaned between her legs. He looked at her and said, "Since it's over, do you want to go out and play for a few days?" "Can I?" Mu Chi-Chi asked, hooking her arms around his neck. "I'll arrange it." Then, he buried his head in her neck and kissed her earlobe, the earlobe with his name tattooed on it. Mu Chi-Chi fell into Xing Xiao's arms and let him do whatever he wanted. After a while, they were back on the big bed. Although they did not have their first night, and Xing Xiao was waiting patiently, it was inevitable that the two of them would be intimate now that they had broken through that boundary. But they did not take the last step. Lying on the bed, Xing Xiao looked at Mu Chi-Chi and lifted her chin. "Little one, you haven't smiled for a long time. Why don't you smile?" "How can I smile now?" Mu Chi-Chi hooked her arms around Xing Xiao's neck. "Why? What are you not satisfied with?" Xing Xiao asked. Mu Chi-Chi got up and kissed Xing Xiao's Adam's apple. Then, she lay down again. "I just want to be with you. But I am afraid that I will know more about the Xing family. That is not what you should think about now. When the time is right, I will arrange for you to meet the Xing family. But not now." Xing Xiao caressed Mu Chi-Chi's cheek with his finger and promised her. "I promise that I will let you subdue them one by one." Isn't it too early to say that? Mu Chi-Chi did not want to hold on to her expectations so soon. Xing Xiao lowered his head and kissed Mu Chi-Chi's thin lips. "I just don't want you to be afraid." Then, the bedside lamp was switched off. In the dark, there was nothing but the sound of their kissing. Love and comfort were necessary. But in the end, Xing Xiao cared about Mu Chi-Chi's body. Even if the pain was coming sooner or later, he had to follow the doctor's advice and do it step by step. He would first adjust Mu Chi-Chi's state every time they were intimate. It was good for her. After midnight, Mu Chi-Chi slept in Xing Xiao's arms. Even in the summer, Mu Chi-Chi did not want to let go of his hands. Xing Xiao was sweating all over, but he let her be. "Xiao Xiao. I am so hot. Turning on the air conditioner will lower your immune system. It is not good for your body." That being said, the great crown prince of Huangyao did not mean what he said. He did it just so that Mu Chi-Chi could sleep comfortably. How could he not spoil his little one? "I want to go out and play with you," Mu Chi-Chi said in her sleep. "I think you are fantasizing about me." But was the matter with the Mu family really resolved? It seemed not. The next morning, Mama Mu was released from the detention center after being released on bail. Even if Su Zipei did not want to see her, she still waited for her at the door. After all, Mama Mu had nowhere else to go. I have arranged a place for you to stay. You can keep using the lawyer since you want to sue Muchichi. Zipei, I still want to see Muchichi. But Muchichi does not want you to see her. Su Zipei answered straightforwardly. She is going to university soon. She does not want to have anything to do with the Mu family. But there is something I want to tell her. Mama Mu's expression was solemn. I am too selfish, you can tell me what you want to say. Mama Mu glanced at Su Zipei. She was about to speak, but swallowed her words. Su Zipei glanced at Mama Su. She found her expression strange, but she did not ask. It was just that once this secret was made public, many things would change. Especially Muchichi's future. Still, Mu Tangxue had promised Papa Mu that she would settle Mama Mu's divorce once Mama Mu was released. There was no telling if she could wait until the secret was revealed. Chapter 98. After settling Mama Mu down, Su Zipei returned to the small mansion. She did not tell Muchichi that she saw Muchichi going out. She did everything as usual. She waited until Muchichi left the house at 11 o'clock at night. She followed Muchichi quietly. When she saw Muchichi getting into Xing Zhao's car, she took a few steps back. Suddenly, she understood why Lu Wenhua asked her to be careful. He must have seen Muchichi and Xing Zhao leaving the house. Then, she remembered what Mu Tangxue told her about Muchichi's secret meeting with a man at night. It turned out that Muchichi and Xing Zhao had been going on a secret date before that. But she did not know about it. Chi-chi. Young Master Sheng. Su Zipei covered her chest and went back to the mansion. She sat in the living room. Her mind was in a mess. She had never thought that Muchichi would fall in love with her savior. Then, Su Zipei called Lu Wenhua. She knew that Muchichi would not come back that night. Lu Wenhua thought that something important had happened to Su Zipei when he received the call. But when he entered the small mansion and sat opposite Su Zipei, he saw that Su Zipei looked very serious. She seemed to be in a state of shock. Did Muchichi go out? You saw it. That's why you told me, right? Su Zipei raised her head and asked Lu Wenhua. I don't want you to be kept in the dark, Lu Wenhua replied. These two kids, Su Zipei's hands were trembling. But she forced herself to calm down. You didn't tell anyone, right? Why would I tell anyone about this? Lu Wenhua replied. I'm just worried that you'll get hurt. I will handle this. It has nothing to do with you. Please don't make decisions on your own in the future, Su Zipei said to Lu Wenhua. Zipei, after such a long time, I thought that I had entered your heart. Don't you understand what I'm doing? Lu Wenhua was a little hurt by Su Zipei's tough words. I really don't understand you now. It doesn't matter what Chi-Chi has done. It doesn't matter if she is hiding it from me. As her aunt, I will stand by her side unconditionally. If you are not a like-minded person, then I will not continue to be with you. Su Zipei said to Lu Wenhua seriously, even if you are in my heart, I have to be sure that you will not hurt Chi-Chi. Zipei, Chi-Chi is like my own daughter. How could I hurt her? Su Zipei looked at him seriously. Both of them looked at each other for a long time. Finally, Su Zipei nodded. If that's the case, no matter what happens in the future, I hope that you'll stand on our side and protect us. As for the other matters, I will naturally deal with them. Lu Wenhua did not mind it at all. The Xing family is a dangerous place. If we don't stand by Chi-Chi's side, she will lose all her confidence. Do you know where they went? There's a villa area near Xingting University. The person I hired tonight has just reported to me. Young Master Xing should have bought some property there. I want to go in, can you think of a way? Su Zipei asked Lu Wenhua. Although Lu Wenhua was surprised why Su Zipei wanted to go in, he still nodded and agreed. I will try my best. Actually, it was not difficult to understand. For Su Zipei, she had to protect Mu Qiqi in front of others. But it was an indisputable fact that Mu Qiqi and Xing Xiao had lied to her. She naturally had to settle this matter and vent her anger at Mu Qiqi. Otherwise, it would be extremely embarrassing if someone else used this matter or if the Xing family found out about it and she knew nothing about it. As for the other matters, she would only know after she met the two of them. Mu Qiqi and Xing Xiao lived together secretly in the small house. Of course, it was not the style of the crown prince of Huangyao. But because Mu Qiqi cared about it, he had to be careful. The next day, at 5:00, the two of them woke up together. But when they walked out of the villa, they saw Su Zipei standing in front of their villa. Mu Qiqi was stunned. She wanted to let go of Xing Xiao's right hand, but it was too late. She stopped moving. When Su Zipei saw the two of them walking out of the villa, she closed her eyes and cried. How could you do this? How could you? Aunt Zipei. Mu Qiqi was both afraid and apprehensive. Su Zipei walked to the two of them with tears streaming down her face. Xing Xiao said to Mu Qiqi, go and open the door. Su Zipei followed Mu Qiqi into the living room. Then, she sat on the sofa and covered her face, crying. Mu Qiqi squatted in front of Su Zipei and held her hand with trembling hands. Aunt, please hit me. As a result, Su Zipei really punched her. How can you be so bold? You are living together with a man. Aunt, I like Xiao Xiao. I don't want to let him go. So. I want to tell you, but I am afraid that you will object. I am so afraid. You said that Xiao Xiao is our savior. I am so afraid. You said that I can't be a match for him. Seeing Mu Qiqi kneeling on the floor, Su Zipei could not bear it. I am afraid because I feel sorry for you. Do you know what kind of family the Xing family is? Aunt, I am not afraid. Since you are not afraid of this, why are you afraid to tell me? Su Zipei sighed deeply. Do you know how sad I am? Aunt. I am sorry. Xing Xiao was standing behind them. But he knew that Su Zipei did not mean to make things difficult for Mu Qiqi. Moreover, Lu Wenhua stopped him from speaking for Mu Qiqi. So, he just stood aside. He knew that Mu Qiqi cared a lot about this aunt of hers. She stood up from the sofa and walked around the villa. When she saw that the villa was filled with the smell of the two of them, she could not help but burst into tears. When she arrived at the kitchen, she saw that it was clean and tidy. She turned around and said, don't sneak around in the future. It's bad for your health to wake up at 5 in the morning. Also, both of you don't know how to cook. You should go home and eat. Mu Qiqi nodded and said, don't sneak around in the future. Aunt, you, Qiqi, you used to be timid and cowardly, and I was afraid that you would be taken advantage of. But after this period of time, I can see that you have changed. So, I will not interfere with your decisions. But, no matter how difficult it is to say, you must tell me in the future. I don't know how the Xing family is and I don't want to know. But, if young Master Xing cannot protect you, you still have me. I can help you and protect you. Just don't hide it from me like today. Can you do that? Chapter 99. The two of them hugged each other and cried for a long time. It was only after much difficulty that they stopped, and Su Zipei led Mu Qiqi to Xing Xiao. Young Master Xing, may I have a word with you alone? Mu Qiqi asked. Xing Xiao pulled Mu Qiqi closer to him and wiped her tears. Then, he brought Su Zipei into the study and closed the door. Young Master Xing, are you just playing with Mu Qiqi or? Xing Xiao crossed his arms and leaned against the desk. He answered Su Zipei, I am serious. But you know, the Xing family, if I am not confident, I will not expose her in front of everyone. Even if it is the Xing family, I can still help her. Xing Xiao answered Su Zipei. He was not as lazy, devilish or playful as he used to be. He was very serious. But, why Mu Qiqi? There is no why. It is her. There is no one else. Su Zipei wiped away her tears and nodded. All right, since you have decided to be together, I will do my best to protect Qiqi. But, young Master Xing, I have something to tell you. If Qiqi is hurt one day, I will fight you to the death. Su Zipei nodded and said, that's right. You will not have that chance. After they finished talking, they walked out of the study one after another. Mu Qiqi went up to them. Aunt, Xiao Xiao, all right, you should rest. The sun is not up yet. Let's talk tomorrow. Su Zipei waved at them. Lu Wenhua went forward and held Su Zipei's shoulder. They did not stay in the villa for long. Mu Qiqi watched them leave. But, she could not do anything. She knew that her aunt still needed time to digest. Seeing her standing at the door in a daze, Xing Xiao reached out to Mu Qiqi and pulled her into his arms. Why? Do you feel guilty now? Aunt does not blame me. She is a righteous person. But, after Xing Xiao heard this, he carried her horizontally and placed her on the piano table behind him. Then, he covered her with his tall body. You have a good aunt. I know. Soon, Xing Xiao's kiss landed, and her clothes fell to the ground. If that's the case, I'll *CK you today, here. What? You still want to pick? Before Mu Qiqi could say anything else, her chin was lifted, and Xing Xiao's warm palm moved down her spine. Her body was so sensitive that she couldn't help leaning back. The pain from that night was incomparably clear, but she did not flinch. She clung to his shoulders with both hands. When Xing Xiao saw that, he picked her up by the waist and quickly returned to the bedroom. Then, he took out a condom. Mu Qiqi blushed and looked away. At the same time, she was very afraid because she knew how unforgettable the pain was. Seizing the opportunity, Xing Xiao lifted her chin and stared at her with his beautiful eyes. Can't concentrate. Xiao Xiao. Mu Qiqi called out softly. Perhaps she herself did not know that her voice was trembling and begging for mercy. It was no different from an aphrodisiac that struck straight at a man's heart. Xiao Xiao, what's the hurry? Xing Xiao smiled mischievously when he heard Mu Qiqi's soft cry. After that, he did not hold back and expressed his feelings with intense actions and words. It was 8:00 in the morning when she woke up. Mu Qiqi was relieved when she saw that Xing Xiao had not left yet. He was still asleep. Beneath his messy hair was a perfect face that captivated and mesmerized people. Mu Qiqi blushed when she remembered what happened just now. She wanted to get up, but her legs were weak and she almost rolled off the bed. Fortunately, Xing Xiao reached out and caught her. Mu Qiqi fell into Xing Xiao's arms and stuck herself to his burning body, not daring to move. Hungry? Xing Xiao asked over Mu Qiqi's head. Yeah. Mu Qiqi nodded. I want to pack up and go back to see Aunt Zipei. Xing Xiao opened his eyes and looked down at Mu Qiqi. Then, he rolled over and wrapped her in the blanket before carrying her over his shoulder. Xiao Xiao. Mu Qiqi was shocked. Congratulations on becoming my woman. Xing Xiao moved closer to Mu Qiqi and teased her. You have taken my first time. You have to take responsibility. When did I say that I won't take responsibility? I'll say the ugly words first. I think I have the potential to be a pervert. I might want you anywhere, and when that happens, you won't be able to take it. You just like to bully me. Mu Qiqi could not help biting Xing Xiao's nose. I know you're just scaring me. What if that's true? Mu Qiqi looked at his half-smiling face. Her heart raced and she was afraid that she would sink deeper into it. She quickly pushed him away. Aren't you going to work? Xing Xiao sneered and did not say anything else. Instead, he put her in the bathtub and cleaned her up. Mu Qiqi enjoyed Xing Xiao's service and felt the discomfort in her body disappearing bit by bit. She was finally Xing Xiao's, and Xing Xiao belonged to her alone. Xing Xiao, the crown prince, was hers. After washing up, Xing Xiao sent Mu Qiqi back to the small villa. Then, he went back to Huangyao. Mu Qiqi thought about what happened in the morning. She felt sad, especially when she saw Su Zipei. Aunt, since you've made your choice, you must be loyal to it. I understand. Su Zipei smiled at Mu Qiqi. Thank you, Aunt. Moreover, I've promised Wenhua that we'll get along and see if we can become a family. Really? In fact, Su Zipei did this not only because she had feelings for Lu Wenhua, but also because she had other plans. She wanted to help Mu Qiqi gain some background. She could not have nothing. Who knew what would happen to the Xing family in the future? Lu Wenhua knew that she had such thoughts. But, he did not object. After all, it was enough for him to protect the person he loved. Come and have breakfast. I still have to go to the hotel to deal with that woman. She seemed to have a secret to tell me. But, she did not say it out loud. I'll ask her today. Chapter 100. Su Zipei arrived at the hotel in the morning. She saw Mama Mu packing her luggage. She asked, Do you have a plan? I spoke to Mu Qiqi last night. He asked me to go to him today to discuss the terms of the divorce. If everything goes well, I want to go abroad after I finish my sentence, Mama Mu said to Su Zipei. What's the point of staying here now that my family is gone? She could start afresh after she went abroad. It was a good place to go. However, Su Zipei did not forget her purpose of coming to the hotel today. Yesterday, you wanted to say something but stopped. What did you want to say to me? Mama Mu stopped what she was doing when she heard Su Zipei's question. She turned around and looked at Su Zipei. What secret do I have to tell you? I know you. Don't you look like you have a secret now? Mama Mu chuckled and sighed. Zipei, I know you care about Mu Qiqi. So, I can't tell you my secret now even if I have it. I'll give you an explanation after I get the divorce. Then I'll wait. Are you going to the Mu family? Don't worry. I have my lawyer with me. Everything will be fine. I've had enough of that man. After being married for so many years, Papa Mu always asked her to behave herself. Otherwise, he would scold and beat her. She had endured it for so many years. Now, it was the end. All right then. After all, it was a private matter between Mama Mu and the Mu family. She could not force herself to stay by Mama Mu's side. Moreover, even if she was worried about Mama Mu might not appreciate it. After all, no matter how much the Mu family had done wrong, Mama Mu had never done anything wrong. I'm leaving now. Mama Mu brought her lawyer to the Mu family's house. Mama Mu hesitated when she saw the familiar house. But, she still walked in. Papa Moo was sitting on the sofa in the living room. There was the divorce agreement on the coffee table in front of him. Moo Group had just started to improve. He did not want to waste his time on Mama Moo. After all, he had given her 10% of the company's shares so that she could speak up for Moo Group. After being married for so many years, I think I owe you something. So, here's the check. You can fill in the amount you want. I won't complain. Mama Moo could not believe it. She never thought that Papa Moo would be so easy to negotiate with. But the check on the table and the divorce agreement were all signed. Papa Moo was not lying this time. Could it be that he still had feelings for Mama Moo? Actually, that was not the case. After Mama Moo called Papa Moo last night, Moo Tangxue told Papa Moo, "Dad, you can agree to whatever request that woman makes tomorrow. Then, you'll go on a business trip and leave the rest to me. What if you fail again?" Papa Moo clearly did not trust Moo Tangxue enough. Believe me, she won't be able to take a single cent. It was precisely because of that conversation that Papa Moo was being so generous. He rose to his feet when he saw that Mama Moo was not moving. "We've been husband and wife for so many years, and I don't want to see you leave with my own eyes. That's why I'm leaving first. I'm going overseas for a business trip." Mama Moo never expected that Papa Moo would be so understanding. Could it be that he really owed her something? She thought that Papa Moo was scheming, but he really left the house. Mama Moo looked at the divorce agreement and the check, and turned to the lawyer doubtfully. "If that's the case, it's a good thing. You don't have to trouble the lawyer. If that's the case, I'll leave first." "You can pack your things," the lawyer told Mama Moo. "All right, we'll contact each other if there's any problem." Mama Moo was not on guard because Papa Moo had already left. Then, she went into her bedroom to pack her things, when she heard movement from Moo Tangshua's room upstairs. Mama Moo cautiously went upstairs, and found Moo Tangxue sitting on the floor, her body covered in wounds and her face in pain. Moo Tangxue quickly threw herself into Mama Moo's arms when she saw her. "Mommy! Mommy, you're finally back. Daddy is going to beat me to death. Please take me away." She remembered that her daughter had been trying to make her a scapegoat when she was detained. Mama Moo quickly pushed her away. "I'm not your mother anymore. I've divorced that man." Moo Tangxue was in disbelief. She knelt on the floor and hugged Mama Moo's legs, begging, "Mommy, don't go, please. Stay with me. Shua-er. I'm not a member of the Moo family anymore. Just tonight, just tonight. Stay with me. Daddy's on a business trip and I'm scared." Moo Tangxue hugged Mama Moo's legs and would not let go no matter what. Mama Moo's heart softened at that. "I'll leave tomorrow morning." Moo Tangxue hugged Mama Moo's legs and burst into tears when she got a response. Mama Moo helped her to bed when she saw her in pain. She took care of her as she always did, but she was not a member of the Moo family after all. "You'll be alone in the Moo family from now on. Be careful." "Mommy, you don't want me anymore. You don't want me anymore." Moo Tangxue was sobbing pitifully, which was why Mama Moo stayed by her side and took care of her for the whole day. It was fortunate that the man had gone on a business trip. Otherwise, she would not have stayed in the house for a second. If not for that man's conscience and did not make things difficult for her after the divorce, she would have ignored Moo Tangxue no matter how miserable she was. When night fell, Su Zipei called Mama Moo to ask why she did not return to the hotel. Mama Moo told Su Zipei that everything was going smoothly. She would pack her things and leave the Moo family early the next morning. Su Zipei told Mama Moo to be careful because she knew that the father and daughter of the Moo family were not easy to deal with. Mama Moo nodded in agreement. But she did not know that she would not survive the night in the Moo family. Mu Tongxue stayed in bed for the whole day because she had been abused too much. After Mama Mu made her dinner, she returned to the room where she had lived with the man for decades and packed her things. Everything appeared to be fine, but the entire mansion was engulfed in thick smoke in the middle of the night. The neighbors quickly called the police, and the firefighters arrived 20 minutes later. Mu Tongxue was calling for help from the second floor, and the firefighters quickly took action. They had her jump down from the second floor, and someone would come to her rescue. The fire was so fierce that Mu Tongxue hesitated several times. Fortunately, everyone tried their best to dissuade her, and she finally jumped out of the window. But she fainted when she reached the ground. Chapter 101. When Su Zipei received the call, it was not even 4 in the morning. She was surprised to receive a call from the hospital. But when the doctor mentioned Su Ziqing's name, Su Zipei's heart skipped a beat. Because there was only one thought in her mind. It's over. At the moment, Mu Qiqi was in her new home. She was very restless in her dreams. Xing Xiao was woken up by her waving hands. Seeing that she was sweating, he propped himself up and hugged her in his arms. Little one, you can't be honest even in your dreams. Su Zipei called Mu Qiqi while rushing to the hospital. Xing Xiao saw his phone screen flickering. He got up and picked it up. Aunt Ziki. Young Master Xing, bring Mu Qiqi to the hospital. Hurry, her mother is dying. Which hospital? Kongsheng. Xing Xiao hung up and turned to look at Mu Qiqi who was sleeping on the bed. Suddenly, he understood why Mu Qiqi had nightmares. It was because mother and son were connected. Then, he put on his clothes and put Mu Qiqi on his shoulder. He did that so that she could sleep a little longer. At the moment, in the emergency department of Kongsheng Hospital, Mu Tongxue had already woken up. The first thing she did when she woke up was to ask the medical staff. Where's my mommy? Did you manage to save my mommy? Miss, don't worry. The nurse quickly comforted her. How can I not worry? The fire is so big that I can't find her. Your mother is being resuscitated, the nurse replied. You have inhaled carbon monoxide too. You need to rest. Mu Tongxue struggled to get up. But Su Zipei had already stormed into the emergency room angrily. Mu Tang Shua Aunt Zipei. Mu Tongxue choked. She felt terrible. Don't tell me that you don't know why there was a fire in your house. Aunt Zipei, I really don't know. Cough, family member, don't agitate the patient. The nurse advised Su Zipei. If there's anything, please investigate it first. Su Zipei looked at Mu Tongxue. She looked at her hateful face and gritted her teeth. If I find out that you have something to do with this, I won't let you go. Aunt Zipei, I'm really innocent. Mu Tongxue defended herself. Even if she had done something, she wouldn't have been so heavy-handed. Both men were arguing in the emergency room when Mu Qiqi woke up in Xing Xiao's sports car, surprised at her surroundings. Xiao, the clothes are in the back. Put them on and get out of the car. Xing Xiao told Mu Qiqi. Mama Mu was caught in the fire. I don't know if she's alive or dead. Mu Qiqi's eyes widened when she heard the second half of his words. She quickly picked up her clothes from the back seat and put them on. You go find Auntie, I'll deal with the aftermath. Before she got out of the car, he reached out and held her hand. No matter what happens, I'll be here, okay? I know. Mu Qiqi quickly got out of the car and met Su Zipei at the entrance of the emergency room. Qiqi, Aunt, what's the situation now? Su Zipei grabbed Mu Qiqi's arm and shook her head. It's not looking good. I told her not to stay in the Mu family, but she didn't listen to me. Now it's all over. Mu Chi-Chi couldn't tell what she was feeling. Even if Mama Mu had treated her badly before, even if she didn't treat her like her own daughter, she was still her mother. She was still her family. I couldn't get through to that man. I called the people from Mu Group and they said that the scumbag had gone abroad. Mu Tongxue. In the emergency room. Humph, Susie Pei snorted. They went to the operating room and waited for about 2 hours. Then, the police came to the door. Susie Pei quickly asked the police, how did the fire start? Preliminary investigation. The fire was not turned off in the kitchen. There was still some food on the stove. The fire spread from the first floor to the living room and the master bedroom. Even so, they shouldn't have been hurt so badly. They had a phone and they could open the door and leave. Moreover, Mu Tongxue could be saved. Don't worry, madam. Miss Mu's room was upstairs and it was far away from the fire. But she fainted after she was saved. The firefighters didn't know if there was anyone else in the villa. Moreover, the fire spread from the living room to the front door. Obviously, they couldn't get out. Most importantly, there was an explosion. Of course, this is only our preliminary investigation. We'll have to wait for the detailed investigation. Susie Pei signed on behalf of the Mu family. But she couldn't believe that Mu Tongxue had nothing to do with it. How could it be so coincidental? Mu Chi-Chi sat outside the operating room. She couldn't help texting Xing Xiao. Xiao Xiao, have you left? Not far from you. Xing Xiao replied. Mu Chi-Chi looked up at the corridor. She saw Xing Xiao sitting on a chair not far away. He was looking at her with a serious face. Mu Chi-Chi was relieved. Then, the doctor came out of the operating room. Susie Pei went up to him and grabbed his arm. Doctor, how is my sister? We've tried our best. I'm sorry. Please go and see the patient for the last time. The doctor said apologetically to Susie Pei and Mu Chi-Chi. Susie Pei paused for a moment. Then, she ran into the operating room. Mu Chi-Chi followed behind her. But when they saw Mama Mu lying on the operating table, her whole body scorched, Susie Pei couldn't help but cover her mouth and cry. Mu Chi-Chi couldn't believe it. It was her mother. Si Pei. Mama Mu was lying on the operating table and shouted with difficulty. I'm here. I'm here. Susie Pei quickly went up to her. She could smell the burnt smell coming from Mama Mu's body. Her skin was festering. Her face was unrecognizable. An Shua might not be from the Mu family. Mama Mu tried her best to speak to Susie Pei. I don't know, whose child? I'm pregnant with. Susie Pei could barely hear Mama Mu. She leaned closer to her. Sister, don't talk. That man is Shen Jianchuan. Mama Mu tried her best to open her eyes. She said to Susie Pei, you have to find out. Seeing that Mama Mu didn't have the strength to speak anymore, Susie Pei quickly pulled Mu Chi-Chi to her. Chi-Chi is here. Chi-Chi is here. Sister. Chi. Mama Mu reached out her hand. But, she couldn't touch Mu Chi-Chi. Mu Chi-Chi stood in front of Mama Mu. Her eyes were filled with tears. In that very instant, she could not even keep her footing and stumbled backwards. But unexpectedly, Xing Xiao's warm palms supported her body. Chapter 102. Xing Xiao knew that Mu Tongxue was also in the hospital. But since he could not let her know about their relationship, Xing Xiao simply closed the door to the operating room and let no one enter. Then, he held Mu Qiqi in his arms. Mu Qiqi tugged at Xing Xiao's shirt and cried in his arms. She would never see this person again no matter how much she hated him. 2 of her family members had passed away at the age of 18, and one of them was her dearest relative. At that thought, Xing Xiao hugged Mu Qiqi even tighter with his arms. Su Zipei turned to see Mu Qiqi crying. She slowly stopped crying and patted her shoulder. Your mother is so badly hurt. Even if she survives, it would be a fate worse than death. It's better to leave, at least she won't have to suffer. Mu Qiqi nodded. Apart from dealing with your mother's funeral, there's one more thing. We have to find out the truth behind the fire. Mu Qiqi struggled out of Xing Xiao's arms. She stayed quiet for a few seconds before turning to Su Zipei. Aunt Zipei, I want to see Mu Tongxue. Su Zipei understood what Mu Qiqi meant and looked at Xing Xiao. Xing Xiao looked down at Mu Qiqi and nodded. Go. Be careful. I'll take care of the aftermath. Mu Qiqi let go of Xing Xiao's waist and held Su Zipei instead. Like mother and daughter, they walked to the emergency room with the same anger. Meanwhile, Mu Tongxue was getting an intravenous drip. Sister, Mu Qiqi did not give her a chance to speak. She dragged her from the bed and onto the floor. Mu Tongxue fell on the floor. Tears streamed down her face. She could not resist at all. The nurse quickly went up to Mu Qiqi and stopped her. What are you doing? The patient is badly hurt. Mu Qiqi looked down at Mu Tongxue and pinched her chin. It's just a serious injury. Why don't you just die? Mu Tongxue was sobbing. It took her a long time to catch her breath. Mommy, how is Mommy? You still have the cheek to ask. Mu Qiqi slammed Mu Tongxue's head against the wooden cabinet. When the nurse saw that, she quickly stepped forward and pushed Mu Qiqi away. I'll call the police if you do that again. Mu Qiqi staggered and almost lost her balance. But when she regained her balance, she said, Mommy has always been biased towards you. Even during the exchange of exam papers, she sacrificed a worthless person like me for you. Even if I hate her, I never thought of doing anything to her. On the other hand, you. She must have never thought that the person she loves the most would send her to hell with her own hands, right? Sister, what happened to Mommy really has nothing to do with me. No matter how cruel I am, I would never do anything to Mommy. Mu Tongxue cried. You know very well whether you did it or not, but listen up, Mu Tongxue. You better promise me that no one will find any evidence, just like what happened to Grandma. Otherwise, I will definitely kill you. Mu Tongxue was sobbing uncontrollably. The nurse tried to help her up several times, but she could not stand up. But at this time, Mu Qiqi said to her, Aren't you going to see Mommy one last time? At least, I want you to remember Mommy's unrecognizable face. I want you to be afraid. Mu Tongxue struggled to stand up. With the help of the nurse, she slowly walked out of the emergency room. Mu Qiqi and Su Zipei followed behind Mu Tongxue. The journey to the operating room felt like a century for her. Finally, they arrived at the door of the operating room. Mu Tongxue looked inside. When she saw Mama Mu lying on the bed, she was so scared that her legs went weak. She fell to the ground. Mommy, you better remember Mommy's face now. Don't ever forget it. Mu Qiqi was hysterical. Her face was red. Lu Wenhua came after her. He held Su Zipei's shoulder and stopped Mu Qiqi. Qiqi, don't be so agitated. It's not worth it. Mu Chichi glared hatefully at Mu Tangxue, who was on the ground, and finally kept quiet. Before she left, she said one last thing to Mu Tangxue: "I'm afraid we can only be enemies in this life. But, the more you want to drag me to hell, the more I won't let you have your way. I'm happy. But what about you?" Mu Tangxue was sobbing on the ground. It was obvious that she was very sad. Lu Wenhua brought Mu Chichi and Su Zipei away when he saw that. After they left the hospital, Mu Chichi found the place where Xing Xiao parked his car. The two cars quickly went back to the small mansion. The two women were very sad. "Wenhua, about my sister's burial, can I leave it to me?" Lu Wenhua said to her. "Go and lie on the bed for a while." Chi-Chi, Su Zipei looked at Mu Chichi worriedly. But Lu Wenhua said to her, "Don't worry. Young Master Sheng is here. It's useless no matter what you say." Su Zipei nodded. She was very confused. Especially the secret that Mama Mu told her at the end. It was about Mu Chichi's identity. She had to find time to verify it. "Zipei, the dead are gone. You have to accept it. Don't worry. No matter how much I hate the Mu family, I won't be like them. Let's see what that bastard will say when he comes back." After that, Su Zipei went back to her room. Xing Xiao, who was standing behind Mu Chichi, carried her in his arms and walked out of the small mansion. Mu Chichi was in Xing Xiao's arms. She was lying on his chest. She was talking nonsense. "Xiao Xiao, you haven't had any peace ever since you got together with me, right?" Xing Xiao's handsome face was tense. He did not say anything. Instead, he brought Mu Chichi back to their new home as fast as he could. "Since you know that I haven't had any peace, you should make it up to me now." Xing Xiao carried Mu Chichi into the bedroom. He put her on the bed and tore her clothes. Mu Chichi did not resist. She just watched as the man pressed her down. Xing Xiao saw that she had no reaction. So, he carried her and put her on the dressing table. Mu Chichi had nowhere to vent her pain. She felt Xing Xiao's thrusting into her. So, she bit his shoulder. Xing Xiao did not stop. He did it again and again. He used all kinds of positions that he had never tried before. He left all kinds of marks on her body until she went limp and fainted. After that, Xing Xiao cleaned the marks on her body gently. Then, he put her on the bed and covered her with the blanket. "Little one, what should I do to make you not sad?" After a moment of silence, Xing Xiao said, "Sleep well. I will always be here." Because he knew that Mu Chichi was in trouble. But there was no way to comfort her when she lost her mother. Now, he just wanted Mu Chichi to sweat and have a good sleep. Chapter 103. On the other hand, Su Zipei was lying on the bed. Her face was pale and her eyes were filled with sadness. Lu Wenhua sat beside her bed. He held her hand and comforted her. "It has already happened. Don't think too much about it. You should think more about Mu Chichi. There was a time when I hated her so much. But now, she died a horrible death. Forget it. Let me help you lie down." Su Zipei nodded. She looked at Lu Wenhua. Suddenly, she remembered what Mama Mu told her before she died. She asked her to investigate Shinjianchuan. But, she knew nothing about Shinjianchuan. So, before she lay down, she asked Lu Wenhua, "Wenhua, do you know Shinjianchuan?" "Why not? He is the young master of the Shin family. He is a playboy. He used to be brothers with that bastard Mu. But, he got into trouble and got into a fight with someone. Then, he became a vegetable. Now, he is lying in the hospital. So, it is normal that you have never heard of him. Why are you asking about him? Nothing. Su Zipei shook her head. Then, she lay down. Although she did not know what happened between Mamamoo and Shen Jianchuan, she had to find out the truth since her sister had such a question. After Mamamoo's funeral, she would investigate the hospital where the man was admitted to. Then, she would find out about Mu Chichi's identity. Have a good rest. I will take care of the hospital. Thank you, Wenhua. Actually, she felt more at ease with this man by her side. At least, she had someone to rely on when something like this happened. A day had passed since the incident. Papa Mu rushed to the hospital in the evening, looking travel-worn. The mansion was burnt and Mama Mu was charred. The first thing Papa Mu did when he entered the hospital was to identify Mama Mu's body. Papa Mu looked serious when he saw the mutilated body. Then, he went to Mu Tongshua's ward. Dad. Mu Tongxue ran to her father when she saw him. It's okay, Shui-er. Papa Mu hugged Mu Tongxue and comforted her. It's all over now. Mommy. But Mommy, I know. I know everything. I've gone to see your mommy. Papa Mu's eyes reddened. It was as if he could feel the pain and suffering of being a married couple for more than 10 years. Your mommy is not blessed. Sigh, Dad, I want to save Mommy, but the door won't open. Do you know what's going on? I can't open the door. Dad is on a business trip. How could he know the details? We need to listen to the police's description. Papa Mu immediately defended himself. In fact, Mu Tongshua's question meant that she had thought about saving Mama Mu. She wanted to fulfill her wish, but all she wanted was for Mama Mu to be hurt. She never really wanted things to turn out like this. However, she could not open the door no matter how hard she tried. If it wasn't for her father, she really couldn't think of any other reason why things would turn out this way. However, she was the one who gave Papa Mu a perfect alibi. He had left the country. If this incident was determined to be an accident, then it would be fine. But if it was caused by someone, then it would be her responsibility. She never imagined that her father would be so ruthless. It's fine. Everything is fine now. Mu Tongxue clenched her fists. She knew that staying by her father's side was like asking a tiger for its skin. If there was a conflict of interest, the man in front of her would definitely sacrifice himself. It seemed that she had to find evidence of her father's involvement in the fire. Otherwise, how could she escape? I'll give your mother a proper burial, she's a pitiful person after all. I don't think Aunt Zipei would let us touch Mommy again. How could we? After all, we didn't divorce. Why did he not let Su Zipei touch Mama Mu's body? Wasn't it simple? He was afraid that Su Zipei would find out about the details. Therefore, even though Mu Tongxue and her father appeared to be a loving father and filial daughter, both of them were harboring their own agendas. Soon, Mu Tongxue left the hospital. When she arrived at the police station, the police handed Mama Mu's belongings to them. 2 rings and a pair of earrings. Take a look. Is there anything else? Mu Tongxue burst into tears at once. But, she took Mama Mu's belongings from the police. I'm sorry for your loss. The police are still investigating the cause of the accident. We'll give you an accurate answer when the time comes. Thank you, officer. Mu Tongxue took the rings. Then, the father and daughter went to Grandpa Mu's house. Grandpa Mu could not help but sigh when he heard that Mama Mu was burned to death. Grandpa Mu even called Papa Mu into his study. He asked him, how did Ziqing die? There was a fire in the house. I know that Ziqing asked you for a divorce. I heard that you agreed to it without hesitation. That's not your style. Did you know that Ziqing, father. Don't talk nonsense. Papa Moo interrupted Grandpa Moo. I just came back from Japan. Grandpa Moo snorted coldly. He pointed at Papa Moo's chest and said, if I find out that you're related to this incident, don't blame me for turning against you. Father, you've misunderstood me. Moo Tongxue was outside their study. She heard their conversation. Even Grandpa Moo did not believe in Papa Moo's innocence. Not to mention Moo Tongxue. But now, Moo Chi-Chi and Su Zipei were sure that she was the one who killed her mother. How could she prove her innocence? At that thought, Moo Tongxue clenched the relic in her hand, her mind recalling her mommy's burnt face. One day and one night passed. Moo Chi-Chi did not wake up even once. She only had nightmares and talked in her sleep. Xing Xiao stayed by her bedside for the whole day. Su Zipei rested for the whole morning. Then, she went to her new house. She found Xing Xiao in the study. They talked about some confidential matters. Young Master Xing, I can't find anyone else to talk about this. I can only ask for your help. Tell me. Xing Xiao did not forget that he had made his niece unable to get out of bed. Do you know Shen Jianchuan? Shen Jianchuan. Of course I know him. The Shen family used to visit us when I was young. But he has been in a vegetative state for many years. Xing Xiao replied. Why do you ask? Is the Shen family close to the Xing family? Of course. According to seniority, I call Shen Jianchuan big brother. Chi-Chi might be Shen Jianchuan's daughter. Su Zipei could not care about anything else. She could only talk to Xing Xiao now. Xing Xiao's eyes widened when he heard that. Aunt Su, you can't joke about this. You should know that Moo Chi-Chi has to call me uncle if what you said is true. What? They are related by blood. Not really. It's just that the two families have always been close. Xing Xiao explained. That's good. So, the most important thing now is to find out if there is such a thing. Xing Xiao nodded at Su Zipei's words. I will find a chance to arrange it. But the truth was that if Moo Chi-Chi really had such a close relationship with the Shen family as Su Zipei said, he would be Moo Chi-Chi's uncle. He would not care if he was an uncle or a brother. He would just be a senior in the family. Chapter 104. But young Master Xing, if Moo Tongxue really is a member of the Shen family, Moo Tongxue would definitely be one as well. If Moo Chi-Chi's identity is exposed, Moo Tongxue's identity would be exposed as well. Wouldn't it be the same as the Moo family then? Su Zipei was worried that Moo Chi-Chi would be treated the same way as the Moo family. But Xing Xiao shook his head. I know the Shen family. If Moo Chi-Chi is really a member of the Shen family, she would not be mistreated at all. I would teach Moo Chi-Chi the personalities and taboos of the Shen family. Moreover, Grandpa Shen is a righteous man who is famous in the military. He would certainly be able to tell right from wrong. That's good. But not everyone in the Shen family is good. They would have to ask for my permission if they want to bully Moo Chi-Chi. I'm relieved to hear that. What Su Zipei was worried about was that the truth about her parentage was just the beginning of another nightmare for her. She would rather keep it a secret, and no one would be able to dig it out. I'll give you an answer in 3 days. After all, it would not be too much trouble for the Xing family to approach the Shen family. Then Moo Chi-Chi, she's still sleeping. She hasn't woken up since she came back yesterday. Xing Xiao said nonchalantly. Su Zipei was naturally relieved to leave Moo Chi-Chi in Xing Xiao's care. Still, there was no telling what would happen to the child without Xing Xiao's support. If that's the case, I'm going back. Please take good care of Moo Chi-Chi, young Master Xing. I still have to go to the Mu family. Please go. Xing Xiao propped himself up and saw Su Zipei out of the mansion. Then, he gave Jing Yun a call. Jing Yun, go to the hospital and get Shen Jinchuan's hair. Make sure it's his. Young master, old master asked about you not coming back to Huangyao today. Jing Yun sounded the alarm. He might cause trouble for you. What? Haven't you gotten used to my personality after so many years? Xing Xiao snorted coldly. I'll handle it. Just do as I say. Hurry. Understood, young master. After the call, Xing Xiao returned to the bedroom and saw that Mu Qiqi was still sleeping soundly. He found Mu Qiqi's hair on the pillow and put it in a small transparent bag. Mu Qiqi was completely unaware of everything that was happening before her, unaware that her life was about to change dramatically. After doing all this, Xing Xiao picked her up from the bed with the blanket. Only he knew how reluctant he was to part with her. However, it was better to be a member of the Shen family than the Mu family. It was the Shen family. As long as they did not expose their relationship, he could do whatever he wanted. It was better than being the daughter of the enemy, although it was not much better to be her uncle. Hence, Mu Qiqi woke up in Xing Xiao's arms. She was puzzled when she saw that her body was suspended in the air. Xiao Xiao, what's wrong? Since you're awake, get up. Xing Xiao put her down and got up. However, when Mu Qiqi tried to prop herself up, she found that her limbs were sore and weak. It was probably a side effect of having too much sex. Mu Qiqi didn't expect that Xing Xiao would nibble her all over under such circumstances. I can't get up. At that moment, Mu Qiqi's eyes were red and she looked shy. Moreover, she was naked, which made Mu Qiqi feel even more embarrassed. Although Xing Xiao was very familiar with her body now. Xing Xiao smiled faintly and carried Mu Qiqi over his shoulder. Then, he put her on the washstand. Mu Qiqi was very repulsed, thinking that Xing Xiao was going to ask for her again. Xing Xiao laughed mockingly and pressed her shoulder. Do you think that I would still have the desire to sin when you look like this? Mu Qiqi turned around and looked at herself in the mirror. Her body was covered in bruises. There was almost no part of her that was intact. Then, she thought of Mama Mu. Mommy, she's gone. She'll never come back. What you should think about now is to bury her well and send her on her last journey. Xing Xiao took off the towel and gently wiped Mu Qiqi's face. I'll look down on you if you keep thinking about what's in the past and what's gone. Mu Qiqi shook her head. Although she was upset, she knew very well that it was the Mu family who caused it. Where's Aunt Zipei? She went to meet the Mu family. I heard that they refused to let Aunt Su take your mother's body away. Xiao Xiao, send me there too. Mu Qiqi's eyes suddenly became resolute. She could not do anything else because her power was limited, but she would not allow anyone from the Mu family to touch her mommy's body. Especially not Mu Tongxue. The Mu family's house had been burnt down. It could not be repaired in a short time. So, Su Zipei went to Mu Group directly. She wanted to meet Papa Mu directly. But the receptionist of Mu Group would not let her in. Papa Mu was guilty. Even if he was not, he would not let Su Zipei cause a scene in the company. So, Su Zipei could only contact Grandpa Mu. Because Mu Tongxue had no other place to hide now. She took a taxi to the Mu family's house. Su Zipei asked the guard to pass the message. She thought that Grandpa Mu might not want to see her. But, to her surprise, Grandpa Mu agreed to it. Mu Tongxue was staying in Grandpa Mu's house. She looked at Su Zipei. Both of them had complicated feelings. Zipei, I'm sorry about Ziqing. I'm sorry for your loss. Grandpa Moo sat in the middle of the living room and said to Susie Pei. Susie Pei walked up to Grandpa Sheng and bowed to him. Then, she said, I'm here today because of my sister's body. Since my sister and brother-in-law have divorced, we will naturally take my sister's body away and bury her properly. However, I heard that brother-in-law doesn't seem to be willing to give in. Zipei, I'm afraid I can't make the decision on this matter. Everyone in the Moo family abandoned my sister after the exchange of the exam papers. They even wanted my sister to be the scapegoat and take all the blame. Am I right? Susie Pei knew that Grandpa Moo would not give in easily. So, she could only bring up the past. My sister cried out in the detention center. But the Moo family ignored her. In the end, it was my lawyer who helped my sister to get a lighter sentence. Is that right? That's right. But... Chapter 105. Grandpa Moo's expression changed when he heard that. He looked at Susie Pei in shock. It was an accident. Whether it was an accident or not, the police can investigate it thoroughly. And she... Susie Pei pointed at Mu Tangxue and said to Grandpa Moo, I believe that no one knows better than her what happened that night. It's just like how old Madam died in your bedroom in this house. She knows it too. Grandpa Moo nodded. The police can't pry her mouth open now. But one day, she will talk. By then, I look forward to the Moo family killing her again. Mu Tangshue's face turned pale when she heard the word killing. Zipei, you have said so much based on your own speculation. Where is the evidence? Grandpa Moo pretended to be calm and looked at Susie Pei. If you don't have any evidence, don't you know that I can sue you for slander? You can sue me. Let's see if your son is accurate. Susie Pei sneered. I don't want to talk nonsense. Anyway, my sister is dead. Nobody knows what happened that night except for Mu Tangxue. You should let us go now. So, in order to not make a big deal out of this, you should return my sister's body to me. If that scum still wants to keep my sister's body, then I can only make a big deal out of it. I just want to know, after what happened with the exam papers, can the Moo family still take it? This is one disaster after another. Are you threatening me? Grandpa Moo asked Susie Pei in shock. Yes, I am threatening you. I am alone now. What can't I do? Susie Pei said coldly. Grandpa Moo snorted coldly. But in the end, he nodded and said, I will discuss this with my unfilial son. But you have to give me some time. It's just a phone call. How long do you need? Well, you should give me an answer before 6 o'clock. Susie Pei was not that soft. After going through all these messy things, the thought of Mu Chi-Chi being without anyone to rely on made her like a suit of armor, and she learned to move forward bravely. The old man's expression didn't look good, but he still nodded. All right. Then I'll have to trouble you today. After that, Susie Pei stood up and bowed to Grandpa Moo again. Then, she turned around and looked at Mu Tangxue coldly. As for you, you will know the difference between you and Mu Chi-Chi one day. Mu Tangxue looked at Mu Tangxue coldly. With that, Susie Pei left the Mu Jia. But when she reached downstairs, she saw Mu Chi-Chi who was waiting for her. Aunt, you're up. Susie Pei pulled Mu Chi-Chi into the car. Don't worry. I will handle this matter well. I will not let the father and daughter show their dirty faces in front of my sister again. Don't go and meet them. They are just a bunch of trash. I don't believe that Grandpa Moo would not know what his son has done. Mu Chi-Chi's heart was filled with anger. Don't you worry. And your grandmother's death. I think Grandpa Moo is doing this on purpose. He knows how evil Mu Tongxue is, but he still thinks that you are the murderer. He doesn't want to know who is right or wrong. So, you don't have to worry about it. Mu Tongxue said. Mu Qiqi looked at Su Zipei. She felt emotional when she saw how her aunt was protecting her. Although her mother had passed away, she still had her aunt. Aunt, I feel safe with you by my side. Since you feel safe, go and pursue your happiness. Young Master Xing will help you deal with all the obstacles in front of you. As for the trouble behind you, just leave it to me. Mu Qiqi's eyes turned red when she heard what Su Zipei said. She hugged Su Zipei. Don't worry, Aunt. You protected me today. I will protect you in the future. She looked at Mu Qiqi and thought about Mu Tongxue. One was loyal, while the other was heartless. She really didn't know why there was such a big difference between twins. However, now wasn't the time for her to think about these things. Apart from finding Mama Mu's body, she and Xing Xiao had to figure out Mu Qiqi's identity as soon as possible. After Su Zipei left the Mu family, Grandpa Mu looked at Mu Tongxue. He remembered Su Zipei's reminder just now. So, he called Mu Tongxue to him. Shua, come here. Grandpa. Come here. I won't do anything to you. I just want to know what happened on the night of the fire. Mu Tongxue shook her head and burst into tears. Grandpa, I really don't know why I woke up in the middle of the night because of the thick smoke. Then, I got up immediately and opened the window. I wanted to push the door open to see how Mommy was doing. But, I couldn't open the door no matter how hard I tried. I could vaguely hear Mommy's voice. She was asking me not to come out. I was scared. I called the police immediately. But I couldn't find my phone. Then, the police came. They asked me to jump down from the building. But I was so useless. I fainted after jumping down. If I didn't faint, I might not have missed the time when the police came to save Mommy. Grandpa Mu nodded and said, if what you said is true, then your mother told you not to go out because she wanted to save you. The fire spread from the kitchen. The living room and the staircase must be surrounded by fire. And your room is the furthest from the kitchen. So, it makes sense. Grandpa Mu nodded and said, that's right. Shua, are you sure about what you told me today? Grandpa, I swear. If I lied today, I will be struck by lightning. Grandpa Mu nodded and gave up. If that's the case, it's appropriate to let your aunt handle the body. It was up to Mu Tongxue to decide whether she was telling the truth or lying. Of course, she could not tell the truth to Grandpa Mu. Because she knew that the father and the son were in contact. If she said that she suspected her father, Grandpa Mu would definitely question Papa Mu. She did not know what Papa Mu would do to her if that happened. Su Zipei's words were a good reminder. Silencing her. Could she not learn her lesson from her mommy's tragic death? Then, Mu Tongxue went back to her room. She took out her mommy's belongings. Her mommy never left her hands. But, at that moment, Mu Tongxue saw something carved on the inside of the ring. Chapter 106. Xinjianchuan. Come to think of it, she remembered that her mother had been wearing the ring ever since she could remember. She had never taken it off. Could Xinjianchuan be her mother's first love? It was not strange that the Mu sisters did not know about Xinjianchuan. When Papa Mu and Xinjianchuan were brothers, they were not even born yet. After that, Xinjianchuan became a vegetable. Papa Mu felt that there was no need to mention him. So, the sisters had never heard about him. Could it be that Mommy had been secretly longing for her first love all these years? No matter what, her mother had passed away. There was no need to look into the past anymore. So, Mu Tangxue did not tell anyone about Shen Jinchuan's name in the ring. She was more worried about how to protect herself now. Su Zipei gave Grandpa Mu a time limit of 6:00 in the evening. It seemed that her aunt had made up her mind to get her mother's body back. But from her point of view, it was better for her father to deal with her mother's body. Although she was used in this matter, she was still afraid that others would find out about it. So, when she heard her grandpa calling her father, she hid behind the door and eavesdropped. Grandpa Mu wanted to let Su Zipei bury her mother's body since she was dead. Otherwise, no one knew what Su Zipei would do if she was provoked. But Papa Mu did not care. "Father, let's not talk about the fact that she has no power or background. Even if she has, can't I deal with her? You can't just give in whenever Mu Group is in trouble. Do you care about our reputation?" Grandpa Mu felt that what he said made sense. But, he felt that it was better not to provoke Su Zipei and Mu Chichi. He never thought that Papa Mu would cremate Mama Mu's corpse on his own. In just a few minutes, a complete person was reduced to ashes. At 6:00 in the evening, Su Zipei called Grandpa Mu to ask for the result. But Grandpa Mu stuttered. He could not say anything for a long time. Su Zipei understood what Grandpa Mu meant. Finally, she said, "It seems like you want to die together with us." "Zipei, I have tried my best, but that bastard has cremated and buried her." The old master sighed and finally answered. Hearing this, Su Zipei was instantly enraged. "Bastard! Scum! I won't let this go." After hanging up, Su Zipei was so angry that she burst into tears. At that moment, Mu Chichi was right beside her. "Aunt, I heard everything. He clearly has a guilty conscience. This makes me even more suspicious that your mother's death is not as simple as it seems. Even if it's not simple now, there's no way to prove it." Mu Chichi told Su Zipei, but her expression was calmer than Su Zipei had imagined. "Chichi, since Mommy has buried her, let's just let her be." "But..." Mu Chichi raised her head and looked at Su Zipei. "I want that bastard to pay the most painful price. Isn't he afraid that his uncles will take over the management of Mu Group? Let's help him make his dream come true." "How?" Su Zipei asked Mu Chichi. She looked serious. Of course, she agreed with Mu Chichi's suggestion. "Aunt, have you forgotten that you have 10% of Mu Group's shares?" Mu Chichi said to Su Zipei. "Let's work with third uncle or youngest uncle." With that in mind, Mu Chichi gave Xing Xiao a call. After all, she did not know much about the business world. Xing Xiao heard her suggestion and smiled. Then, he said, "My little one, do you know how to take revenge?" "Xiao Xiao, is it possible?" "Of course. Aunt Su has 10% of the shares and your uncles have 8% each. Although Grandpa Mu still has 20% of the shares, it is still possible for him to replace the CEO. After all, the board of directors is a voting system. Of course, we need to add some spice to it." What Xing Xiao meant was that the other uncles of the Mu family had been coveting Papa Mu's management for a long time. They just needed to communicate with them and form an alliance. But before that, they had to release some information to the media. They had to exaggerate the cause of Mama Mu's death. They had to add some human factors into the story so that the media would not be able to find any evidence. Moreover, the shareholders would be very disappointed with Papa Mu because of the exam paper incident. If they betrayed him now, it would be a horrible ending. Both Mu Chichi and Su Zipei agreed with Xing Xiao's arrangement. As long as they could make that bastard pay the price, they would let go of their kindness and their bottom line. "Chichi, Uncle Lu and I will be the most suitable person to deal with your uncles. You are related to that bastard by blood. I am afraid that your uncles will think that it is risky to form an alliance. Su Zipei said to Muqiqi. You and young Master Xing will deal with the media. He has connections and you have literary talent. You can make the story more interesting. Maybe the police will think that it is really suspicious and will put in a lot of effort to investigate. Muqiqi nodded after listening to Su Zipei's arrangement. Aunt Zipei, this arrangement is perfect. Su Zipei smiled and reached out to stroke Muqiqi's head. She sighed. You don't look like a member of the Mu family no matter how I look at you. I am no longer a member of the Mu family. Have you forgotten, Aunt Zipei? Muqiqi did not understand what Su Zipei meant. Because Xing Xiao was still investigating the matter. Huang Yao. Xing Xiao walked out of the meeting room nobly after the meeting. Jing Yun came to him. Young master, it's done. Xing Xiao took out a transparent bag from his black suit and handed it to Jing Yun. Do a DNA test. Well, if I tell you to go, then go. Jing Yun did as he was told since it was Xing Xiao's arrangement. He did not have to go into details to know who the DNA test belonged to. Young master, is it only Miss Muqiqi? Do you want to compare the other one as well? Jing Yun meant Mu Tongxue. Xing Xiao paused and turned to look at him in confusion. Actually, there are some clues from comparing Miss Muqiqi and the other girl's personality. Miss Muqiqi and the Mu family do not have similar personalities at all, but Mu Tongxue is different. She is vicious and calculative. That is why it is better to investigate her. Chapter 107. Young Master, it's no longer unusual for triplets to have 3 fathers, Jing Yun explained. Jing Yun explained, even medicine can't give an accurate diagnosis of heredity. How could a normal person imagine it? In fact, Jing Yun was right. Muqiqi's personality was too similar to the Shen family, especially Grandpa Shen. Even Shen Jianchuan himself was a playful person, but at least he was kind, loyal, and brave. But Mu Tongxue, if Jing Yun's prediction was true, things would get interesting. Then how do you plan to get the specimen? Xing Xiao raised a brow at Jing Yun. Actually, it's easy. I just need a friend from the police station to help me. Be quick. Xing Xiao ordered. Suddenly, Xing Xiao was very curious about the result. It would be exciting for the Shen family when the time comes. Of course, Xing Xiao did not mention it to Su Zipei before the result was out. After all, it was just Jing Yun's conjecture. It was just a DNA test. It would never go wrong. In fact, Su Zipei and Muqiqi could not stay idle either. It was the first time they were planning their revenge, which was why they stayed in the study for the whole day to come up with all sorts of deductions so that there would not be any loopholes in every step. At 10 o'clock, Xing Xiao came to the little mansion from Huang Yao. He had planned to bring Muqiqi back to her new home, but he suddenly laughed when he saw how serious Muqiqi was about killing Papa Mu. In the end, one must go through trials and tribulations to make a person grow. Then I'll go to your third uncle tomorrow. It's safer to go to her youngest uncle. Although her third uncle has shown a strong desire to seize the management rights and an alliance is not out of the question, he might ruin things. After all, people who can show their desires will be guarded against. Do you understand? Xing Xiao interrupted the conversation between the two of them. But, I know. You're afraid that her youngest uncle won't agree. Xing Xiao sat down beside Muqiqi and answered, that's because youngest uncle is a smart man. He wants to reap the benefits of others. Now that such a good opportunity has been presented to him, he won't say no. Trust me. Susie Pei nodded with Xing Zhao's analysis. I'll listen to you, young Master Sheng. As for the paparazzi, I won't use my real identity to contact you. Mu Qiqi interrupted him. Because things like public opinion might backfire, so I have to disguise myself, especially as a witness who might be related to the fire that night. Xing Zhao patted her head and nodded. You've learned your lesson. You've taught me well. Mu Qiqi looked at him and answered firmly. Since that's the case, then it's decided. Aunt Sue, I'll take him away. All right, be careful on the road. Susie Pei smiled when she saw how much Xing Zhao loved Mu Qiqi. It was probably the only thing that warmed her heart these few days. Although they had been going through a lot of hardships, at least there were people who could support and accompany her and Qiqi. Thinking of this, Susie Pei called Lu Wenhua. Lu Wenhua agreed without hesitation. School hadn't started yet, so he still had a few days of free time. However, once school started, he would be a little busier. Susie Pei understood all that. Xiao Xiao, you're not reserved at all in front of my aunt. After getting into the car, Mu Qiqi felt uncomfortable when she thought of Susie Pei's gaze. Do you think she didn't see the marks on your body? Xing Zhao couldn't help but mock her. She's already experienced it. Don't tell me she can't see it. Mu Qiqi lowered her head and saw the marks on her collarbone. She quickly covered it. I forgot about it. Susie Pei did not have any reaction because she used to be with that scumbag when she was still a teenager. She had been with that scumbag for so many years. Although nothing good happened in the end, she knew that Mu Qiqi was an adult now. She had made her own choices. Even if it was wrong, she would support her to the end. But she knew very well that Mu Qiqi would not change. No matter how the environment changed, she would not change. Idiot. Although everything is in place now, I can't breathe a sigh of relief. Because I know that scumbag might make a comeback until the very last moment. He won't make a mistake. Mu Qiqi remembered her mother's tragic death, and she could not let it go. As for Mu Tongxue, as long as that scumbag is gone, she won't be able to stir up trouble anymore. That's not necessarily true. Xing Zhao said with a hidden meaning. After all, when the DNA test came out, if she was really a Xin, Mu Tongxue would definitely have bad intentions. But it was not easy to enter the Xin family, was it not? Moreover, there was still the possibility that Jing Yun mentioned. If Mu Qiqi was a Xin, Mu Tongxue would never imagine that she and Mu Qiqi were twins and had two fathers. When that happened, the Xin family would not admit her identity. Just thinking about it was exciting. Xiao Xiao, are you in a good mood tonight? Mu Qiqi could not help relaxing when she saw the smile on Xing Zhao's lips. You don't have to know about it for now. I will tell you when I have the chance. Xing Zhao kept her in suspense. But when they reached the villa, Xing Zhao did not open the door and get out of the car. What's wrong? In the car, we haven't tried it yet. Xing Zhao looked at Mu Qiqi. His eyes were burning with passion. Mu Qiqi remembered how fierce he was yesterday. She quickly got out of the car. She still had to save her energy for something else. This man's stamina and ability were too shocking. The corners of Xing Zhao's lips curled up into a beautiful smile with a hint of playfulness and recklessness. Sometimes, teasing this little thing was a very pleasant thing. She was running like a rabbit now. But it was fine. One day, he would catch the little one and she would not be able to run away. Late at night, Papa Mu finally returned to Grandpa Xing's house. He saw Grandpa Xing waiting for him in the living room with a serious look on his face. He walked up to him and asked casually, "Dad, you're not asleep yet. Why did you cremate my daughter-in-law?" Grandpa Mu asked Papa Mu sternly. Dad, I've already told you the reason on the phone. Are you still afraid of a woman? I've already cremated her and buried her. What can she do to me? All she can do is stomp her feet. Papa Moo looked a little arrogant. After all, there was no evidence. And with Moo Tongshua's protection, he could do whatever he wanted now. You better pray that she only stomps her feet. You will regret it if she does anything else. You're tuning in to the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.